Welcome back to the Arun and Trader Prad show. I am currently looking at Microsoft as Sean mentioned. Arun, what are you looking at?
A lot. We'll get to that. My screen is rather full.
No,
not yet.
Okay.
We'll start with you, and then we'll go on to
Perfect.
mine.
So I had a pretty bad day to start off with. Transparency. I'll be honest. I started off with a horrible trade on Twilio. I am on the what's the TMS software now because I don't want to take any more trades on my live account. I want to keep that limit over there going. So I'm on the practice account now. So what I did take was I took the 232 breakout long on Twilio, which stopped me out immediately because we came back down on the pre-market low and broke below 228. What I did wanted to do was stick to my original plan, wait till 220 to come in, go long off of 220. Later on in the day I did get that long off of 220, rode it all the way up to 228, but the stock that really gave me trouble was a keystroke. So 940 Tesla short, I was trying to take X amount of shares. Instead, I took 10x times those shares, and that keystroke happened twice. So the first time that keystroke happened, I caught myself making that keystroke, and I fixed it right away. The second time that keystroke happened, I caught it again, but that one I caught it too late, and by that time, eventually, the damage has been taken too far out of me to even handle it. So now we're just gonna go fiddle around with. I don't have the YouTube chat open here, so we're gonna go fiddle around a little bit with our practice account over here. And on the practice account, using the same methodology that helped me take the Twilio trade correct, I believe have taken the DraftKings trade correctly. Still trying to apply what our Yoda to my right over here has been teaching me, how to apply the dailies, how to look for resistance supports, how to look for trades on this down move right now. While Nasdaq and ES were coming down, I recognize that DraftKings actually did break out of previous resistance, came back and was trying to lean on the previous resistance for support. So using that previous resistance as support or yesterday's high, I went long, and we're currently 30 cents in the money for DraftKings. Something similar on the AMD. So if we go to AMD over here, once again, 130. I had 128 long on AMD. It is my number one trade on my live account. So I had 128 long. I got out at 130. I did not have this move to 132, and now that AMD did come back down to 130, we're gonna test this long over here, see if we can make a move towards 132 one more time. And Disney, I had Disney long and short. Disney, I'm actually negative on the live account, but overall, the idea was just to keep on supporting this 154. I got shaken out a little bit because I was like, maybe it's not going to work. Maybe it is going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. So I mapped out these levels yesterday, and I was like, we're under this 155 line that I have, which is kind of where basically the high of day was, even though the high of day is basically 157. Not much trading really happened above 157 for 155, because look at the amount of consolidation between 155 and 154, or sorry, 156 and 154. So just using that resistance level over here, that previous resistance could now be support level, to see if we can get another move on Disney back towards the 160s, because that earnings report obviously gave it a nice bump on Disney yesterday.
All right. Well, you can put it on my screen. Yeah, that's. We can't get rid of the Trader TV logo, eh?
No.
Okay, so anyways, that's my screen. The bottom two stocks are UL and WFC. It looks, half decent, I guess, but I'm live, by the way. So all this is, there's a lot happening, and I'm all over the place in terms of putting stops and levels and all that stuff. And I got to keep an eye on some names that have gaps, like FDNT. Yeah, it's down $1.67, but the spread is big, so I got to keep an eye on that. Obviously, GME taking off. We caught that. And the thing with GME, and I want to start with GME, is that we were looking at this 124 level. People were asking, hey, is GME a buy for the last week, for the last few days? Is GME a buy? Is GME a buy? And I was like, well, until 124 goes, I don't see myself stepping into GME. Well, it turns out 124 went, right? We were here roughly in the aftermarket, dipped down, and then took it off. We finally got back above and stayed above off the open, right? About 20 minutes after the open, I'm like, perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see us above, see how much selling is left when we come back down, and then find some more selling, and we got back above. So we stepped in, took GME just right above 124. You see the price, 124.03. I have a thing with 03s, 03s or 13s or whatever. So here I am, 124.03 long, up 562 on GME, and the other one that's up big is Linda. Yeah, that's up. You know, that was a decent setup as well off the daily, right? Well, I told you guys, anytime I look at levels, I'm looking at the daily, and the first thing I looked at was, oh, okay, are we really going to get up this high? Are we really going to move up through 310 or this little area right here? And then when I saw that what the trading looked like overnight, I was like, oh, perfect. We got above 310, and then we're actually trading above it fairly decently. Why not step in? I did this in the pre-market, by the way, so it was tricky because when the jobs report came out, it just slipped, and Lynn in the pre-market was quite aggressive. So I stepped in anyways. I like my levels. I like my setup. Took the trade. I've already cashed out some here, so we're already locked in $4 or so. You see the exit right there. That's the entry. That's the exit for some of it. The rest of it has moved to what's it called? A break even. So even if this comes all the way back, I'll be okay. So not a big deal in that in that case. That's the upside, but I do have some downside. I do have some downsides. Oh boy. Okay, you guys are gonna find this one hilarious. Well, not hilarious because it was expensive. C-Day. So I decided, hey, you know what? Just like I do with everything else, I went for the daily. What does the daily look like? The daily looks like this, right? So here we are breaking the low from the third. I'm like, we've consolidated around 75 long enough. The fact that we're underneath, we're going to open below. If I can see some hesitation on them, press back up towards 75, I'd like to take a shot at the short. Well, what do we get right off the opening move? We kind of pushed all the way into 75 and change, and then back down. I'm like, sweet. Now I'm going to go for the short. Well, I can't even remember where the short on this was. It was like 75 or 74. Yeah, you can see what the chart did, right? It just took off, and it ran me over. That was a straight up standing in front of a freight train getting run over type of situation, and yeah, that's what happened. So short here, 74, out at 77. It was just 10 minutes maybe. Absolute getting run over. That was just way too quick. I was like, oh man, that's my biggest loser right now. That was not a fun time to be in that ride. And the other one I got caught on was CRM. And to be fair, CRM's like completely my fault. Well, everything's my fault. But CRM was just like a lapse in analysis. I think I just kind of misanalyzed this here. So I went for the long here as we were coming into 220. And then I put the stop. I put the stop at 218, but there was no volume in the pre-market, so the bid was like 217, and the offer was like, the bid was like 217 and change, and the offer was 220. I was like, this is not going to be good. So I kind of tried to sneak in there and get my exit. Turns out there was a ton of volume on icebergs that I got out on, and what happens when you get out? When you get out an iceberg, that means there's hidden volume. That means I got out right where there was a ton of support that wasn't visible, and it took off back to the upside. So CRM, the other big loser for me today, and that's why those two are the ones that you don't see on the board. And yeah, that was this pretty much, right? You see the entry getting run over on the downside, and then getting out pretty much right at the bottom, and then there you go, snap back up. So those are the two losers. We're trying to make that money back. We have made more than half of it back. GME running, Lin running. You can see in the board though, I'm into a couple banks, and I think with the CPI number coming out, everyone looking at the Fed, the banks are going to be something that you look at, right? On a day like today, you look at the banks, BAC, WFC. I'm on board. What else we got? We've got Goose, Canada Goose, favorite jackets for a lot of Canadians. That's out $1. That short did not work out. And CVS was a nice little daily that also is sitting not pretty. TWOU, 2U it's called, up $3. And that's my biggest winner on the short side as well. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about. Arun, you are over trading. I mean, I'm not active in all of these names, though. I'm positioning in and getting out. And you're absolutely right. If you are over trading, you do need to slow down. I do have a lot of names. So
I don't think that's
that is something-
overtrading.
What's that?
I don't like. I wouldn't consider
Well, if you can,
that's
it
overtrading.
depends, right? It depends. If you are scrambling to manage all
Yeah.
your positions
Yeah.
and you can't manage this many positions, then you're definitely overtrading.
For sure. If you can't manage
I think
it.
for me, this is roughly the limit.
Yeah.
I can't step into any more than this without getting some of these out because I've got so a few of these. GME's already under management, so I don't have to worry too much about that one. And Lin is already under management, so I don't have to worry about that one, meaning I'm already trailing them. So I don't have to worry about those two. TWOU is also being managed. So those three stocks, they can take care of themselves. They're moving. I don't care. The ones that I do have to worry about, and this is when it comes to overtrading, you're absolutely right. You do need to keep an eye on this. When it comes to overtrading, I want to see which ones do I need to actively manage. And if I can't spread my energy or my attention across the ones that I really need to manage, then there's a problem. For me right now, the big one I need to manage is FTNT, because FTNT, where is it? Looks like that.
And this look, you're also like nicely distributed between shorts and longs.
That means nothing though.
No, okay.
No, I mean like if I'm short into names that are heavily correlated, or like I'm in names that are heavily correlated. So being long in three names that are very in tune with each other, that's a problem too, right? You don't have to be like, these have their own little catalysts. Like SGen and TWO aren't gonna care about what the market as a whole is doing. Obviously they're gonna be influenced, but you do have to be aware of what the market's doing and their relationships to each other. FDNT is the only one that really bothers me because of the way it's moving and the spreads and whatnot. But absolutely, definitely keep an eye out for overtrading.
All right.
Go on.
Yeah, go for it. So Nick coming in hot one more time, as always, coming in hot with the donations and the super chats. How's the nose better? Yeah, for sure better. A little actually stuffy. I guess it's because like the blood's like getting clogged or whatever, like it's healing, so a little stuffy today. You're gonna probably hear me breathing in and out heavy because it's a little harder to breathe, but besides that, healing beautifully here, just in case anyone want to take a better look at it. Feeling way better, healing beautifully, did not bleed yesterday at all, and none of that nasty, I'll just stop the conversation there, but none of the nasty liquids that usually come out of wounds, so that's good too. All things good. So and no pain at all. So I'm loving it. Absolutely Superman status over here for myself. Anyways, thank you for the super chat, my boy. Yeah, I am scrambling because TD Ameritrade is horrid, slow beyond belief. Can't wait to switch out. Really, I thought Ameritrade was a good broker or a good software. Obviously, haven't used it enough to vouch for it, but I'll take your word. Something that I saw in chat was BKKT being called out. Obviously, trying to incorporate Arun's methodologies here. No longer going to stick with these one-line outs that I always draw. I'm gonna look for a area of resistance or and so on, and hopefully Arun can correct me in this area that I'm looking at for BKKT. I have $8.95 to basically $10. This area of consolidation, and BKKT needs to go play in this area. So it looks like that $10 barrier that someone was mentioning in the chat for BKKT could very well come into play. But looks like we are rejecting in front of 890 itself before we even get to that $10 resistance. So the 890 support of this area is gonna act like a resistance in my opinion.
Right, I'm just gonna jump in real quick. Brendan just let me know Uber is halted, news pending.
Wow. Okay.
Uber is halted right now at 41.60. I guess 41.69. What was the last print? 69, and news pending on Uber. So keep an eye out whenever that comes out. We don't know because news pending. There's no specific time, right? So you just got to keep an eye out for when Uber opens back up. All right. I'm just going to start. No, go ahead. I just got to take care of some positions
Yeah,
here.
so Uber. I wanted to look up Uber to see if we can find anything. Announces results. We already know that. So we'll just have to wait for it, obviously. Maybe if I can go here and do $Uber. $Uber. Let's see if we can find anything on Twitter real quick. Uber news halted, blah, 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 blah. Hey, look at that. We type in Uber and the homies, Twitter shows up. Obviously, Uber, Ford, AMC, Roblox, Disney, all of them were on his board today, and all of them were doing absolute crazy monstrous moves. Let's go check out where Roblox is at today. Roblox actually 1.5, actually almost 2% up right now. And let's see if I could have found the trade on Roblox. if I applied a little bit of Arun's methodologies here to see. Let's see. So obviously this barrier that we were on, this little consolidation area broke out. We broke out of yesterday's high. I think there could be a little bit of resistance coming into these areas near $76, 75.50 or so. So there is another up move possibility for Roblox, but market obviously with the CPI number. I thought the CPI number came out bad, but I was talking to Arun, so Arun was like, it depends on how you look at it. They took out the food in this mathematic formula, but in this formula, it's a year-over-year formula. I just go off the articles being pushed to me, obviously, but someone with a more economic background educating me is always a way better way to learn on that side. So with what I saw was 7.5 year-over-year, I was like, okay, the market's got to poop itself, and then immediately after the market poops itself, we're all the way back to that 15K barrier where basically the 830 price was. Where was the stock at 830? Why does it say 730? Oh, that's because CME. So CME's 830 is 730. So right where we're at 8:30 Eastern time, we come immediately back to that at basically 10 o'clock or 10:45. Pretty great V-shaped recovery on the NASDAQ over there and on the ES. ES currently down only 0.4%, and your NASDAQ is down 0.8% almost. Both of them could have another leg up to the north side and try to end flat on the day, which is actually going to be like a lick your fingers, finger looking good kind of territory, because everyone was worried that CPI number is going to ruin tech plays and the tech sector that was kind of rebounding from the lows. If you guys remember, AMD was at 100, Apple was at 150, Microsoft was below 300. Speaking about Microsoft, where's Microsoft right now? Obviously, the homie Sean was talking about Microsoft. Let's go take a look at Microsoft on the dailies real quick. I was looking for a possible trade, but look how we're just stuck in these ranges. Not really anything for me to take. I guess you could have shorted 307, given it the risk of maybe, $1 or so, and you would have been in the money right now, almost $2.50 or $2, depending on your entry. But, pretty much stuck in multiple days ranges for Microsoft. Nothing exciting. I'm waiting for that 300 long or that 300 break short, which obviously if Microsoft breaks 300 short, that's going to be bad for most likely the tech sector in general.
All right, yeah, I was just taking care of a couple positions. I'm walking away from Wells Fargo, WFC. It doesn't look like that's going to go any further, so that was a small win there. 10 cents or something like that, I think, after holding it for a while. Where did I even... Yeah, it was about 10 cents. No, it was more than 10 cents. Let me pull up WFC here for you guys. It was right. Yeah, it was about 15, 16 cents here. You see the entry, exit. I mean, they had a chance to keep going, but the fact that they're going to turn around right here, take out the previous high on the way back down, and break through that 75 area for me, which is where we were consolidating before we took off, I think that's done. That makes me now concerned about Bank of America, because Bank of America broke that 50 and then spun right around, so that's a problem. But yeah, anyone who's wondering why is someone was asking why is Arun so serious? Because Arun's got a lot of work to do. That's why. I think we had that whole conversation, right? By the time we get to this point, usually I'm managing, but in today's case, some of these names that require management, they've already gone. They're starting to come back in now. So GME I've dumped. I've walked away from GME. So I think for me, GME's going to be a problem. The trail point sits so far back that it doesn't make sense. And given what the daily looks like on GME, why would I give it all the way back? Because we're running into resistance, right? Anytime you take a trade, you want to see how much upside resistance you have before you get out. And if I'm going long 124 and we're really hesitating through these 130s, do I really want to hold anymore? So at this point, the message has been delivered to me. Now, I could be wrong, and we can keep going to 135, but I'd rather just walk away, take my $3.50 on the second portion of my GME. I took $2 on the first, and then 3.5 on the second. What do we got? BAC, I got to keep an eye on that. So going back to, I think Mookie said, when it comes to like over trading, and Mookie said, "Oh well, I'm within my bounds of my processor." Yeah, I'm sitting right on the edge of my processor. That's I can't spread out any more than this because Lynn, I've got that's handled. But BAC bothers me. FDNT's been a problem since I got in. Goose is going to be fine. TWOU, I think that's the other one, is, man, that thing was just, talk about an easy trade that you don't have to worry about. You get in and then you just let it go, and that's exactly that. You see the entry, right, on TWOU is like right in through here, right in through these 13s. I got 1284 actually, and yeah, we're short right here. Downtrend, took out the daily. Why not? When you get something like this is the easiest thing you could possibly have, and this is a 15-minute chart, by the way. So we never even bothered moving up. So this one is the least I have to worry about because the trend is down, the trail is in, I've locked in profit, and just for anyone wondering why did I take TWOU on the short side? Well, because we kind of, actually that's not going to be helpful. That is a daily though, but because of that, let's just kind of look at the structure of this, right? The lowest right here at 13, we've been kind of working this area, this 13 to 15 with some volume. And then on the way down, we hesitated at 14 through 1450 before we took out the low of 13. So once we take out 13, I want to be a part of that, and I'll use the 15 as the high because we spent some time right through here putting in some volume. So for me, it was a $2 risk, and now it's sitting pretty. I don't have to worry about this. So this is not a problem at all. CVS, I'm surprised CVS actually is just running up or moving up, because CVS actually was a pretty solid look on the daily, and the fact that it does not want to at least move down, we kind of worked this area. It was, for me, it was 105. The fact that that took out the low of the 1st of February and also roughly where we were spending time on the highs before we kind of broke out. The fact that we got underneath and stayed underneath, and then overnight when you look at the 15, the fact that we were actually trading through there with some volume, for me, 305, like 105 was the resistance level. So the fact that we're actually finding this kind of strength kind of not bugs me, but just surprises me. At least at the very least, I'd be like, oh, it's out 20, 30 cents. That made sense. Being out $1 kind of like, okay. So apart from that, FTNT is the problem. Goose is going to do what it's going to do. Lin is fine. Mattel, I've got to keep a quick look at. Take a quick look at Mattel. Yeah. See, we had a chance at it. I don't know why we're hesitating this much. Okay, if we lose 50, I'm done with Mattel as well. So that'll be a flat trade on Mattel. If we lose 24.50, for now we'll leave it. It's a winner. There was a question I wanted to answer. I think it was Bradley asking if I get into a trade and I have a target and it's not completely all the way there, what do you do? Well, as you guys can see, I think the best example for that question is going to be Lin. So I took the long here at 311. My target was 320, but although we're not getting up to 320, I'm managing along the way. So I'm capturing profits. Every time I see some hesitation, I'm gonna capture some profits, but at the same time, I'm gonna give this stock the room to move around so we can at least get to the target. So it's a balance of capturing profits from what you have, so you're not just giving it all back, and also giving space to the stock to move around. So for me, Lin, I've captured some, so I've already locked in $4, and then the rest is gonna be sitting at break even. So in the event we fail, I've made 0 on one half, and I've made $4 on the other half. So I'm walking away with roughly $2 on the entire position, so I'm okay with that, right? And that's the thing, you kind of have to be okay with this if this type of approach, if this is what you want to do. And this for me, this is a little bit easier, but it's a little bit easier than scalping. But at the same time, you have to be okay with the idea that, hey, you're going to be giving up some profits, and some days you're going to get run over like I did this morning by not just CRM, was C-Day. C-Day ran me over. So you got to be okay with that concept if you want to trade like this. If you want to scalp and you're good for the ins, quick outs, and the 20, 30 cents here. And if you get the lucky runner, then you get that. If you're okay with that, that's, it depends on the person, right? And the personality. So figure out what your personality type is, and then filter out or build an approach that kind of fits that. Because it has to mesh. If it doesn't mesh, you're going to be sitting here getting antsy doing what I do or doing what Sean does. So it's just one of those things. Stuck in an uber short. Look at that. TXN and Honeywell. Oh, look at that.
Could I take over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, I just don't
Anytime.
want to block you. I just don't
I
want to
had
block
a
you.
lot of positions, and so I have I can talk about almost every.
No, I just
single
don't
one
want to
of
cut
them.
you off. That's
No,
why. Yeah.
no, just let me know if you have something to say. Just let me know.
For sure.
And
I
just go ahead.
just picking stocks from the chat. I see somebody called out LIDR. It is up next. You know, obviously I had to actually do some research as to what they are. Looks like in 2008 there's an ammunition arms dealer company, and they actually got ruled out in 2008 for suspended from the U.S. government. And then now you're telling me that they're up next to move. Like, there's no volume on this, dude. 100,000 shares for a $3 stock. How are you telling me this is up next to move? Like, we need actual news, actual catalyst. And if that catalyst and actual news is there, the stock is going to move. So without all of that information, you can't just expect and predict the future. Because you might get burnt on that. So we need some actual news articles to come out. So there's nothing to talk about this one. Let's move to something that I actually did do was I closed my Disney long. So where are we? Let's go to Disney. It did go a little bit below than I would have liked to hold, so I did close it. My next spot to enter long on Disney would be around 152. Where is this? This line over here, 152. This consolidation period of almost a week, right? One full week of consolidation near 150, $152. If we do go down there, I'll try another long on Disney. We can close this. We don't need that anymore. And then for some reason, this name actually, every time I look at it, that let me just Shift Control T, which is basically bring back. Is this the guy from that movie War? Like the movie that Jonah Hill.
Why is your first reference always Wikipedia?
Well, listen, it's not. It just happened to be. I typed in the company name. It just happened to be. All right, listen. Nah, don't bait me out like that.
If you were in school, would they accept Wikipedia as a good reference?
Yes.
They do now.
Yes.
Damn, I'm old. Okay.
Well, you have to cite it though.
Well, yeah, but I didn't think that was. I thought there was always a little line saying
back in the day.
Well, clearly, I'm
back
not,
in the day for sure. Back in the day for sure. But they did change how Wikipedia works. Like, not everyone can change Wikipedia now, and they're so on top of the game. When they do change the links, they'll immediately fix that and they verify it and everything. Wikipedia has changed from what it used to be. Okay. Trust it. And I always obviously there's people who mess with you on Wikipedia, but the amount of information that people contribute to Wikipedia, I like the information on there. Obviously, a lot of misinformation is also on there. You can't just use that one source by itself. So yeah, Disney is what I was talking about, that 152 level. We're not going to be leaning on this 154 anymore. We're going to let that trade go. AMD still bouncing in front of 130, just playing bounce castle over here, not really doing a whole much. Something that I am noticing, come here. Let me scroll you down to this side of the screen, please. Thank you. So there you go. Something that I did notice is that, obviously NQ came back below from 15K. I had that short on my live account, and then I pretty much scalped it out for a very quick short on the NASDAQ futures. I wish I held it. That would have been a nice short to show on the show at least. So I missed out on that full move. Overall, what the point I'm trying to get to is, while this move was happening, AMD didn't really go much far below 130. So we got to VWAP, and now we're looking to bounce off of VWAP to the north side on the NASDAQ. So if NASDAQ can successfully do that, and the ES can successfully bounce off of VWAP on the 3-minute over here, a potential bounce long off of AMD, which I'm already in, would be great. AMD just up and down near this 130 all the way to the low of, looks like what, 129.80? Yeah, 129.75 or 129.80. And DraftKings still sitting on that long. Nothing for me to really do much besides just hold on to it a little bit longer. What happened to Uber? For those of you who are coming in just now and are missing out on the news halt. So Uber got halted not too long ago based on news. We don't know what that news is. I just put a little joke in the work chat over here. Uber to buy Peloton. It's not. We don't know what the news is, obviously. But wouldn't that be a banger of a news to come out of nowhere and Uber goes, yeah, we're gonna acquire Peloton. Obviously, no. I'm just making a joke out of everything over here, trying to make a light conversation. But we'll see what that news is. People are saying they might buy back shares. If they are buying buying back shares? Why wouldn't they just announce it in their earnings report? Maybe they forgot to and they want to announce it and they're coming out late with it. Who knows? You know, this is all speculation. This is all theory. The only thing that matters is when the newswire hits the channel and you know, CNBC will talk about it or Twitter feeds will have it all over the place. Uber is buying Lyft. Yeah, I can see that happening.
I mean, okay, regardless of whatever's happening, I mean, something's happening. Everyone's speculating what it could be. Just deal with it when it opens up. Whenever it opens up, the market's going to make a move, the stock's going to make a move, and then you figure out, hey, you know what, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Let's deal with it when it happens. Let's not worry about all this other stuff. One thing I do want to show you guys is if you're ever wondering why is the stock halted, go look at the NASDAQ trader halt page, right? Just Google in NASDAQ trading halts and go to their official site, and they'll show you pretty much every stock that's halted for the day and the reason for it. Roughly, you want to go LUDP is limit up, limit down, so it's based on the movement of 10% within 5 minutes. So it's just I guess it's a circuit breaker for the.
Yep.
It's a circuit breaker, right? If it moves up too fast or moves down too fast in a 5-minute period, you know, it gets halted. So you saw ANGH get halted a couple times this morning, VMEO and FLNC. Now Uber's here. You see, all of these have resumption times. Uber's here with a T1 code. Now, if you're wondering what the T1 codes are, there's somewhere here they tell you what the codes mean. Anyways, T1 is news pending. If you just click on it, they'll show you here you go, trading halt code.
Yeah, hover over the code.
Oh,
yeah, just go back and hover over it. It'll say
so
news.
Much easier. There you go. If you hover over it, there you go.
There
T1
you go.
halt, news pending. So simple as that. If you're ever wondering why it's halted, just wait for that. And you can see that because it's that kind of a halt, there's no resumption time whatsoever. So we're just waiting for Uber to open. And whenever it opens, we'll put it up on a chart, and then we'll deal with it when Uber opens. We'll kind of set the things up, though, set the levels up. What can Uber possibly do if it opens up? A lot of the times you're going to see me kind of do the daily. I'll type in daily or also do 1440. For me, the reason I do 1440 is still daily. It's just that I like to see the overnight sessions too. And when you put it on the daily chart, at least with eSignal and the way I have it configured, it doesn't include the aftermarket hours. So 1440 is still 24 hours, but it includes overnight trading. So I can actually see it a little bit better. So I kind of do that sometimes. What are the levels we can possibly work with on Uber? Clearly 45 is going to be a problem. We're hesitating around 44 quite a bit here. So if we were to move up and it fades through 44, we can fade that with a 45 stop. And then I think we have this level, which actually should be up here now, which is south of 36. It'll be 36.50. So there should be some support from 39 going down to 36.50. Obviously, when Uber opens, and let's just say it's some ridiculous news, it could open like all the way up here, way outside the market, and all these levels, they're going to be useless. So we can draw a couple levels, assuming that it opens within the bands. If it doesn't open within the band, then that's a completely different game to play. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Futures coming off a little bit. Man, I knew FT&T was going to be a problem. The issue is when I get into some of these names is that I'm kind of stuck because if I get into them, I got into this one at 330 and I had support. So if it doesn't go, if it just goes sideways, then I don't really have much of an option. I got to wait it out. I can't do anything else except wait it out. We either get stopped out or it actually starts moving. So FDNT is going to be a problem. And Mattel just got me out. So I just got out of Mattel because it broke 50, 24.50 as the
Sean, are you
futures
serious?
taken through 45.50. We just took out 45.50 on the futures. Mattel breaking through 24.50. So we're out of that. FDNT is not helping my case. That does not help at all. What else do we have here? Lin is coming back in. TWO is on the short side, so that's okay. Goose is going up and the market's going down. Ugh. Okay, so yeah, Goose is just starting to trend up. I mean, I'm stuck in that one, right? I can't do anything about it. Okay, somebody else was asking about Airbnb. And I'll do this and we can get and Prad, you can, maybe put a thought into that. Airbnb is up 3.6%, moving strong. And what's the potential for upside? Well, if we can get above this 176 and stay above this 176, then we really have a chance to kind of continue. If we stall out here, it makes sense. There's some resistance. But at the same time, I think the best of entries would have been right here, which was 160. Right? The day that we failed, which was the 7th, and the following day when we reversed course and took it out, Then you had space all the way up to 170. But now we've cleared all of that. Even if you were to go long, where's your stop is the first question. I think the stop should probably be here somewhere, 170, 164. So you're risking $10. Do you have $10 in upside? Maybe to 184 before you hit resistance. So the risk reward on Airbnb to the upside, it's there, but I wouldn't feel comfortable about it until we get a better price. So it's setting up for a long, it looks like, but I'd be a little bit more careful with the pricing of this. Brad, can you take over? I gotta handle some more
For sure. So a couple things that people were asking. We got some super chats. We got, what's this? Trending one with Ecol. Ecol, obviously, you're probably wondering as to why the stock is not doing absolutely anything. Just 2 million shares and we're going sideways. What's the question? Obviously, I know the answer to that, but for you, I'll show you how to retrieve this answer for yourself next time. And you know, in general, how to get you know, better. Go to bamsec.com, type in the stock over here, and look at that. Look, first article from 10th of February, right? Basically, we'll tell you what the latest news is. Over here, it says this stock is about to get acquired for $48 cash. Liquid cash money, young moolah, baby, right? So we're gonna be buying the stock out for $48 cash. It's currently trading at 47. The news got announced yesterday. It was trading at 36, 35, 50, and it jumped all the way to 47, and it's trading between 47 and 48 basically, and that's what it's gonna do. It's gonna be trading in almost pennies for the rest of its life until it gets delisted from the stock market, unless the deal does not go through and the deal falls apart. Something like Activision is doing at the moment. You know, Activision, another buyout stock, should be getting acquired for, if I remember, $95 or $90. I forget what it was. But if Activision, you know, the deal actually goes through on Activision, you're gonna see Activision trade a lot similar, like the stock that we were just looking at, which is ECOL. Very close to the buyout price. That's all it means. The stock is getting bought out. Another super chat that I just noticed not too long ago. Could I find it? Let me try to find the application that I use. Here we go. Nick Ganguly obviously coming in with another hot super chat. Make a page talking crap about the teacher and cite it on your next article. Huh? I'm not sure I understand that. Maybe it was something.
That was a reference to Wikipedia.
Oh, okay, got it. That makes a lot more sense now. I was a little confused as to what was going on over there. Something that I'm not confused about right now at all is this AMD long. Obviously, that 130 did break. I did not have a stop out. Obviously, I'm not gonna stop myself out until 128 takes out, which is where I was long on my live account in the morning, and I captured a nice $2 move off it. This is pretty insane because, you know, obviously Nasdaq broke VWAP. Nasdaq getting ready to stay in the negative for the rest of the day. Looks like it was not going to work out. The positive territory, it tried. It attempted it, and it failed drastically, and now we're all the way back down to VWAP. I don't think we have another room back to 15K today. If we do, I'll be pretty shocked, obviously, but I would love for my favorite tech stock out there, AMD, to stay above 130 and keep on moving. Obviously, with the analysts, everything else coming in, and for the tech stocks, we would like a savior candle coming in on the overall market. On your live account, yeah. So I'm pretty much pretty close to shutdown. So I just got off my live account. I'm now on the demo account. But on basically in the morning opening drive, I went open long 128, got out near 130. How to get a hold of your office? I guess you could email us. I'm not sure how that would work too.
Confirm it first.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. We'll see if Maggie could show up on the closing stream maybe and tell you how to contact her, because she's probably the. Day Trade the World. Yeah, just go to daytradetheworld.com. That's the headquarters. There should be a chat message there. There should be a contact messaging, some form space over there. Actually, let me just show you where it is right now, since we're talking about it. If you go to DTTW.com, this is what our brokerage is, or our software is. This is what we use to trade over here. Everyone can sign up for, as long as you're not on the American US side, that is. You know, obviously, click on contact us, and you'll be able to sign up for an email, or I'm not sure if there's a chat somewhere. Yeah, just send us an email through this route. Go to DTTW.com and you can click on contact us. Where are we going to next? So obviously AMD, we're still holding this bad boy. DraftKings still in the positive, so I can't complain about DraftKings at the moment. We have a long, pretty much far away from the bottom of the day, pretty close to VWAP, and DraftKings has pretty much not done anything but staying in the positive territory for us, so can't complain on that side. Microsoft still going to the downside, I believe, 2 or 300. Yeah, still heading down, and I think I'll wait for that 300 long if they do want to go there. But from just the way the markets are trading like today, I think we're just gonna look for a double bottom long instead. But I'm not taking that double bottom long. Are you and Arun both in green or red today? Sorry, I just started watching you. I'm not sure about Arun. I can't speak for other people. I can speak for myself, obviously. I'm in red. But hopefully we can bring that back. A long day ahead in front of us. Hopefully, I don't want to be fighting algorithms right now during this time of the day. So I'm just going to go practice on the demo account as I am right now. And I'll get back onto the live account, try to smash some trades later on when power hour kicks in. I got the power. Power. If anyone knows where that's from, I could try whistling that tune, but I can't right now. For anyone who's still guessing what that was from Old Spice. Hey, I got it right. Let's go. 5% of Uber is being purchased. Where are you getting this news from, Jamil? Obviously, we still don't know what's going on. Uber is still under halt territory. Uber has not opened up yet. It's forward guidance. We think it could be forward guidance.
Yeah. Everyone thinks something, so it's just more speculation. Someone was asking, is everyone on demo accounts? No. It's just like, so here, everyone has or at this firm, everyone has roughly what's called a shutdown. So, right? So you can only lose so much per day. And if you're close to it, like Pratt is close to it, so he's chosen that he's going to not put any more real money on the line because he wants to trade for the rest of the day. Maybe towards the end of the day, things will pick up or something like that. He just wants that opportunity. So he's chosen to go into TMS, or what we call TMS, which is the demo side of things. Everyone else here is live. Typically, he's live as well. I'm live. And Sean and Neil are live. Brendan's live. Everyone, there's real money on the line. It'd be kind of not hilarious, but it'd be kind of like, just wouldn't look good if we're on demo accounts pretending to trade.
Exactly. I don't want to lie to people saying like I'm on real account when I'm not. Like
I
would rather be honest.
I think people appreciate the honesty too, right? So there is real money on the line. Am I going to be positive or negative? After getting run over by C-Day and CRM, at the moment it's negative, but if FTNT and Goose turn, that'll be fine. Everything else is kind of balanced out. I think FTNT and Goose are going to dictate what happens, because I'm already factoring in Lin being a flat trade. Even though it's up 245, I've already got some out. I'm trailing this, right? So I'm factoring that being flat, and then TWO, wherever my stop is right now, I'm factoring in about a $1.50, $2 winner. So with all of that said, it's all going to come down to FTNT and Goose. If FTNT goes down, then I'm definitely going to be losing. It's going to be negative, at least going into the end of the day. And if Goose continues his uptrend, that's going to be a problem too. So for now, FTNT and Goose will dictate how I close the day. But for the time being, I am slightly on the downside. And we'll see how FTNT either gets worse or FTNT kind of brings me back around. But I mean, we're not going to win every day. That's not going to happen. Yesterday was a great day, but yesterday we had some great positions and longs and some great prices. And talk about a trade that, oh man, that would have been a great entry too. Square. Oh man, I had a bid out on Square. It was right after the open. It was right here. It was 111 and change. And let me put this chart right here. So when we took out 112, I'm like, I'm going to put it as close to 111 as possible because that's doable. Yeah, it turns out the low was 111.15, and I was sitting another 10 cents lower. Never got the fill. That would have been a great winner. That's a missed trade. So that would have definitely helped me stay positive. But for the time being, we are negative. And if you're wondering why is Arun so serious? Well, you missed the last few days where I didn't have to do a whole lot. I just had to manage. But now I got to be on top of my game. I got to really keep an eye on FTNT. A goose, I mean, that's going to do what it's going to do, but FTNT definitely got to keep an eye on that. Lyft is down $1.70. Oh, yeah, okay. We should definitely look into that. I've shed some positions, by the way. Mattel, WFC gone, so we've locked in some profit on both of those. And Lyft down. Is it down? Yeah, nice little move from $2. Right from here. Where is it on the daily, though, is the question. Oh, there you go. There's the answer. When you look at a daily chart, where's it hesitating? Look at that, 46.50. That's a problem, right? 46.50 has been a problem. What day is that? On the 5th of January. 46 even was the problem on the 11th. And then if you're going back to last year, you got November 23rd and 24th stalling out around 46. So automatically I'm looking at 46.50, but I don't like using halves. So I'm moving that up to 47 even. And that's my top end line. That's it. Simple as that. Now, if I was looking at it and if I was looking at a Lyft at that price, would I have found a potential short? Maybe here. But I mean, would I really want to put up $2 and change in risk when the other corresponding name is halted like Uber is? So I probably wouldn't have traded that anyways around that price point, but it's there. The setup is there. What are we talking about here? Apple. Okay, let's take a quick look at Apple. Apple's an index name, so you definitely gotta look at Apple. Yeah, it's at. You see the line, right? 178. That's my marker. It's been there for a decent amount of time now. Market bouncing. My issue with taking on these index names is that I immediately start looking at the index itself because Apple's at the top of the list. Apple controls 11 to 12% of the NASDAQ 100, and there's 100 names in there. So one name controls like 11% of the NASDAQ. So you put Apple and Microsoft together, that's already 20%, more than 20% of the index. And then you add the rest of the top 5 techs, and then you get into like 40% or something like that. So definitely keep an eye on Apple, but if you're going to do Apple, keep an eye on the NASDAQ. And I think somebody earlier was asking about NASDAQ futures. Let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ futures. Did I talk about? No, I talked about the S&P futures this morning. But to talk about the NASDAQ, we got to quickly take a look at the daily. And the daily right here, you'll notice we're right at the red line here. That's a 200 DMA. Typically, I care about these lines unless we start going sideways, at which point I don't really bother too much. Trend lines are like moving averages are great, but if the market's starting to like just box in and just go sideways in wide choppy action, they become almost useless. But at the same time, it kind of glues your eyes or it gets your eyes to focus around a certain area, and it looks like around 15.2 to 15,000. There's going to be some interest, right? There's some hesitation here on the 2nd, 20th, and then the bottom out on the 10th. So there's definitely going to be some volume coming through as we cross 15,000 and change into 15,200. So definitely limited upside unless we can actually grind through these areas. So when I look at that and I see Apple, well, NASDAQ has space to move before we get to that area where I have to be concerned, and Apple, because it's part of the index, also has space to move a little bit closer to that stop point, right? So I'd rather just wait it out and see if we can't get a better price. And I'm just quickly looking over FTNT now, 95 cents out. Okay, helping the case. That's good. It looks like market is bouncing back off those 45s, looks like. Futures, let's take a quick look at the S&P futures. We are at, what are we at? 64. See, we were talking about right here this morning. We were talking about this 45.20 being a nice little area. I was looking for longs, man. I was looking for longs. I had the stocks, but I really wanted to step into some futures contracts as well. And we just wouldn't set up. I couldn't get the setup somewhere. And by the time we set up, we were at like 50, and I put the bid down at 40 because I only risk maximum of 40 points. I don't risk more than that. So we never really came down. We just took off to 80, and then by the time we got to 80, I'm like, I don't want the 40s anymore, and that doesn't make any sense. So we kind of just pulled the order. But
Did you play the 830 number?
I mean, I don't try to play numbers anymore. Like, numbers are so the game has changed. It's not like good is good. Sometimes good is good, sometimes good is bad, right? So CPI coming out at 7.5 versus 7.3 and 6 versus 5.9. it's like, oh, it's a healthy economy, right up until you get to a point where it's like, oh no, what's the Fed going to do now, right? So now good is bad, right? So that's why you saw the market fall off a little bit, a nice little rebound. Now that people's minds are changing a little bit of what this means, and that gets very complicated. If you go for the short, where do you get out? It almost ends up being a momentum trade on the futures, and I'm not a fan of momentum trading. That's not my strong suit. So I just kind of wait it out. I'll pick my levels and then see if we can't maybe work a position. Okay, Lynn going back to his upside. Banks coming back in. Bank of America. I dumped WFC too.
Someone called out Snapchat earlier, so I'm just looking at Snapchat. I drew this box for a level to keep an eye on. Looks like from 41 to 45. We did break out through this previous support near $42, I guess. Obviously, we went close to 42. I guess the high days today were 42.07. Not even 42. 41.97. So we're attempting to break the previous resistance, previous support, which is now acting like resistance at $42. You could look for a short scalp in front of this, or just play the breakout of 42 to a move to $45 or so. And if we do get to 45 today, that would be an absolute short that I would like to smash on this stock, just allowing it to see what it wants to do, because obviously there's not much room to the downside if we do short 42. Looks like obviously applying the methodology, look for the path of least resistance. There is enough resistance to the downside, then there is resistance to the upside. So Snapchat, obviously the longs were looking beautiful off the open itself. 38 being the low a day off the open. If you basically gave it some time to wiggle around and do what it wanted to do, and then you played the breakout of yesterday's high, which also happened to be the high of February 4th and the low of January 6th. So if you just played the breakout of that level, which is basically 40, Uber open. So let's go check out Uber right now. UBERNY. I'm typing it wrong. Darn it, Uber on New York. So where is my chart looking like? Looks like Uber's actually going to the downside.
Gap down.
You want to talk?
No.
Okay.
Keep going. I'm just kind of color commentary.
Yeah, for sure. So Uber, indeed, look at that sells being coming in. My chart's not loading because it's crashing on me. So let me see if I can pull this chart in the meantime to the right side while that chart's deciding to crash and then load back up.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Like, we know what the news is. I'm sure someone has a release, and I just got to check our chat. Brad, can you actually quickly check our chat? Maybe Brendan put it in there.
The news?
Yeah.
I believe we still don't know yet. Sean put in about 8 minutes ago that says Morgan Stanley reports a 5.2 stake in Uber Technologies, and we don't have a news ever since that. They downgraded it, says the chat over here. Let me try to find some news actually live while
I'm not
you're...
going to touch this until I know what's happening.
Yeah, that's...
We know what the level is, but... What? Yeah, we don't know anything. So I mean, like you're at this point, you're rolling the dice by trying to play this. We're at a support point, so you can easily argue the long. You could argue the long south of 40 if you had a reason to do it. But I mean, do we know what the reasoning is? I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna walk away from this. If you guys want to play momentum and try to make a move on this, by all means, just be very careful, because they can blow through support if the news isn't good. And you're starting to see it go now. Now it's taking out 39.50, which is roughly where it was hesitating, and now it's looking at 39 even. If it starts accelerating to the downside, then you got to think something. Yeah, we're not chasing Uber. Someone's like, don't chase Uber. Yeah, don't chase anything, right? If it comes to your price and you get the price that you want because you have a reason to do it, fine. If it's not set up, did it halt? No. No, it was just very, very slow at a specific...
It's going to halt, maybe?
No. It was just very slow at a specific price. I think they were just grinding through some volume there at just around 39 there. So yeah, we're gonna leave that alone, and let's take a quick look at Lyft, because that's probably a better setup. No, Lyft is going too. Yeah, Uber's going through 38.50 now. Lyft is falling off as well. Lyft just broke 42. Let's quickly take a look at Lyft on these. No, not going to do that either. All right. Oh, yeah. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that news on Uber, let's take a quick look at ADGI. That's been requested a few times there. ADGI falling up. We were trading ADGI yesterday, weren't we? Pretty sure we were trading ADGI. The name sounds familiar. Anyways, breaking. Nice little... This is a problem. Oh, man. ADGI, this is the daily here, and nice little turnaround, and then we get this flush out right into support. So now we're at 8 even into 750, and there's a decent amount of hesitation on the way up. So I think there's a possibility for a long as long as we don't break 7 even. If we lose 7 even, yeah, we're back to the downtrend. We've broken any support that we've had, and then you're looking at 5 even as the next level. So there's a possibility for a bounce on 80 GI with 7 even as a stop, but not like this. It cannot move like this to kind of find a rotation, right? It's got to slow out, maybe get above 850 or something like that and stabilize. At that point, there's a rotation trade you can possibly make on 80 GI. But for me, yesterday, it was just one of those quick trades and I'm done, and I've moved away from the stock. So I'm not going to spend time with this. I've already got a decent portion of names going here. What's up, Brad? You're not
Darn
happy about
it.
something.
No, I tried to. So I was just looking at Uber over here to see what Uber could have done. Maybe I could have looked for a dip by long. Looking at yesterday's candle, I wanted to see if 38 could hold. I got long in front of 38, and I basically I didn't want to gamble with this trade. Listen, even though I'm on TMS, which is a simulation platform, I want to trade like this is real money to me because I want to build good habits. So I did not enjoy having that long there. Immediately got out of that long, and now it starts ripping. So I'm like, oh, come on. You had a good read, but you just chicken yourself out because you didn't believe that Uber would. You had the same trade? Yeah, so I was like, oh man, but here it goes though. It's ripping right now. I had a pretty decent read, but look at the volume candle
I'll tell you something right now.
Yeah, what's up?
If you want to keep your money in your pocket, just walk away from Uber.
Yeah, that's
just
the
walk
best
away
way.
from Uber. At some point, there will be a setup, but not right now. Because right now, you're just going with whichever direction the flow is, and the flow changes very quickly. When
You're
volume
playing
comes
red
in.
light, green light.
Yeah, essentially, right? And that's not going to be a good way to go if you're trying to keep that money in your pocket. So just move on. There's other things that are going. Futures just bounced like 15 points or so. That's pushing the market up. Now FTNT is in the money. Helpful. Very helpful. We're starting. Is this the time we finally get going? Because FTNT is set up to go. It's just a matter of, are we going to get moving? Once we get moving, it could be quite the upside here. Look at the reasoning for this trade, right? 330 is roughly the last little bit of resistance we have until we get up to like 350. So if this gets going, it's going to accelerate, and that's why I was saying this will dictate whether I end up positive or negative on the day. So for now, FTNT up 11 cents, but we're looking forward to a bigger mover. If the market accelerates past 45.80, then I'm going to start to potentially look for fades in the market, but I need the setup there as well. But for the time being, I think FTNT is going to be the critical one. Lin is going. TWO has got its own thing going, but it's on the short side, but it's still moving just fine. CVS is, oh man, CVS is just trending. Why is it? I mean, I don't know why, but this was just not a helpful situation for CVS. So if it keeps going and takes out 107, I'll be done with CVS, which is another 70 cents or so. But that's unfortunate because this one also had potential, just like FTNT did. It'll be a letdown if CVS doesn't turn back to the downside. For the time being, though, we're just going to wait it out. That's all we can really do. UPS, Ford too, but I'm not a fan of Ford after yesterday's movement. Yesterday's movement did not help my case. I was looking for the fade on Ford yesterday, and at this point I'd be looking for a fade as well, but I don't like the way Ford moves. Like, this is what you're dealing with in terms of resistance on Ford, so the fade makes a little bit more sense to me, but based on how it felt holding on to Ford all day and then walking away like a 10-cent loser, wasn't fun. And if that's what I got to deal with trading Ford, I don't want to be doing it. So I'm going to move away from Ford, and then UPS as well. Man, wow. That's, look at that support here around 220. I remember when we did this too. It was a few days ago, and it happened pre-market, and my alert didn't go off because it wasn't set to pre-market alert. So I got notified at 9:30, and by the time we got to 9:30, it was already gone. So no chance of getting that long at 220, but this downside move for the last couple days now, we started at 228, we're at 222, and if we keep going down, that 220 is going to come into play at some point around here, around that 220, 219, maybe even 218. There's going to be something there. So if we can get a support setup or a buy side setup right around that price point, I think you go for the long at that point. But for the time being, respect the trend, don't ever fight the trend. If the trend is telling you it's going up, like it's moving up, and you really want to go short, just wait it out. You might get a better price if you wait it out until your mechanics kind of fall into place. The reasoning for your trade falls into place, and then we just move on from that. So for now, we're going to wait it out. We're just going to manage what we've got. What do I have? FD&T still flirting. CVS doing its thing. Bank of America not back. So MFC is protected, meaning I've locked in profit. TWOU is protected. I've got locked profit there. UL is protected. Lin is protected because I've already cashed out. Lucid is open. So Lucid I can still really lose on if it doesn't get going. FD&T, that's the critical one. DKNG flat, CCL flat, BAC flat, CVS trending against me. I mean, for the most part, most of these trades are already protected, meaning I've already locked in profit, and I'm just waiting for them to kind of get going or even turn around. In the meantime, what else are you guys talking about?
In the meantime, head over to the like button and smash that, because obviously it is 12 o'clock. It means people are ready to go for lunch. Our lunch today, Arun, I don't know if you know what the lunch is.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to? Okay.
Greek marinated chicken with steamed rice and braised vegetables. Sounds pretty good.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Skewers
that
and
more
everything?
than the eggs bennies.
Oh, yeah.
It's because eggs bennies, you gotta have them well when they're still warm
Yep.
and all that stuff.
And the bread is like hard when it's like cold. Oh, I
and
hate
you
it.
can heat it up in the
it
microwave
was good, though.
and all that stuff. It was delicious, but
It was good.
like for me, it was like you gotta have it when it's warm.
For sure.
And it wasn't. It's not the right type of food for at least being catered, because by the time it gets here, it's not as warm as you would like it. And bread isn't as soft as you would want it. While we're talking about lunch, I noticed that Steven asking for likes. I'm going to start asking for likes. We've only got 635 likes. We've been averaging, well, the average dipped a little bit yesterday. But
Can they see that? I'm just trying to show them the like button over here while you're talking about it.
yeah, so for the first 2 days of this week, we were averaging roughly 2K likes. And then yesterday, we got underneath a little bit. We got like 1,500 likes. So how many likes can we get today remains to be seen. There's 3,500 people. We got 700 likes, it looks like. So maybe we can beat yesterday's record or yesterday's number of 1,500 likes. We've got, I mean, it's doable, right? That's like more than half. So if half these people are not signed into their account, they can just sign in, give a like, and then I guess bounce. Bounce. But for the time being, I'm gonna see what else you guys are talking about.
Here's
BTS, BBIG. What?
Here's a question that I guess super chat came in about 25 minutes ago. Sorry for the delay. The question in the super chat, LMK asked, I was off yesterday, but did you guys go over risk management?
I mean, there's so much to that. I think, can you just keep an eye out for him again?
Yeah.
Can you, LMK, can you actually be more specific when it comes to risk management? What do you mean? Like your account management, or for each and individual trade, or like while you're managing a position? There's so much to unpack with when it comes to risk management. So yeah, just be a little bit more specific and I'll just answer it. You don't have to put another super chat. I'll just look at for you. Can you take a look at the Bill daily chart from Mark? Oh boy. Bill Belichick. Oh boy, Bill's paying bills. Yeah, the reason it's hilarious is because we had quite the winner on Friday last week on Bill. Yeah, there was a reason we went for the long, and it was this day. No, it wasn't. It was this day. It was this day. So, can my account? Can we go back that far? I don't think we can, right? Maybe we can. Maybe it'll pull the trades. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did pull the trade. Okay. So this was that day. And the reason we went for it, because it was the 200 break and there was no resistance stopping Bill. So we just went for the long and we essentially got 206 and got out some at 221 and then got out the rest right here at 239 on the way down, right? So that was the reasoning for that trade then. But when you look at the daily on Bill, the reason I took that trade was because there was so much runway. So much runway. When you get through 200, there's very little stopping you. Maybe that 220 did. That's why we took some profit there. But once you get past that, you get into the 260 area, roughly where we are now, but we still have so much space to the upside. We have resistance coming in. But at the same time, you can't use 270 as a stop, because first thing I look at when it comes to potentially fading this is where's my stop, and if I'm going to use 270, I got to make sure that there's no reason that this could just be a false move, right? So when I look at 270 and I look back, I'm like, oh, what's going on at 280, and then 290, and then 310. So there's like 310 would have to be the top end of this little zone that you're looking at for potentially fading. Well, it's not even that. It's a little bit wider. It's like that. That's a wide area. And we can grind through that by just chugging along just a little bit each day, and we work through that zone. So fading or fading bill, I don't know if that's the right thing right now, because the break of 200 kind of opened the door for such a good long that now fading it without getting the right setup, you may have to wait a few days for the right setup. Even if it falls off in one day, that's okay. But you do need to wait for the right setup inside of this zone to get going. So respect the trend. The trend on bill is just up. 5 days up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days straight up. Since the day we took 200, we went straight up. Now, I caught the first leg of that, but obviously it's still going. And if I were to manage this on a multi-day basis, I would just let it go, right? Let it go until it turns. It tells you that it's going to turn.
Let it go.
And right now, it's way too strong to kind of even try to short this. So just wait a little bit. At some point, it will stall out. And when it does, it stalls out inside of this zone. Then you go for the short. And just like I do on the futures, I'm waiting. I haven't made a big trade on the futures since Monday. And here I am waiting once more for a futures trade. And you got to apply that same logic to bill as well, because shorting into a strong trend is not going to help your case when it decides to keep on going, right? So just be aware that is what bill's situation is.
Let it go. Let it go. I don't know the rest, obviously, because I have not seen the movie. But for anyone who has, you know where that's from. It's none other than Disney. So what is Disney doing at the moment? Disney still, I think it's a Disney movie. I hope I got it right. Is Frozen Disney? Yeah, okay, so I did get it right. Thank you. So Disney, obviously, earnings report coming out yesterday. I was talking to Arun about how if we held our long from 145, even an extra minute into after hours, we would have had an extra $10, $20 per share trade.
We were both long.
We were both long 145, and then we got out near 147. We were like, okay, $2 per share. We did good. High five.
We were nearing the end of the day, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm good. It was a decent run. I don't need to get caught in some like end of day selling.
Yep.
So I'm like, I think I captured like $1.70 or something.
Yeah, around
at the end
same.
of that, and I'm like, that's good. I'm good. I'll walk away from that. And then obviously then you gamble essentially when you take it to earnings. You're like, oh, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be bad? I don't know. You leave it on the table. You leave all that money on the table. And you're like, and then it decides that it's going to continue its little move, and there's another $10. I'm okay walking away from this because I'm not a fan of, giving that up. It's a different situation when it comes to me trying to play futures into the closes. That's a little different because, once the stock's closed, futures are still trading until 4:15, and there's more than enough volume to handle all of that. Earnings reports are a much different story on individual names, and if you get caught, if let's just say it comes out the opposite direction of where you are, you're gonna have a hard time getting out. So good luck on that. LMK, I saw his.
I sent it to you.
Oh, listen. So I only have two screens.
Oh no, as long as you saw it.
Yeah, no,
as long
I
as you
saw it on
it,
the thing. I only have two screens with Valera set up, so I can't put up so much. I don't have space to put up stuff. So the only chats that I have up are the actual show chat. Like the actual YouTube chat. And he says that in regards to taking profit, especially trail stops. What was do you remember?
Yeah, so more in regards to taking profits. So he started using bracket orders, and he's basically layering his profit targets based on percentages. And if it hits a certain percentage, he's basically out for a stop or for profit. And he wants to know how he could cut his losers earlier and let the winners run. So like trailing stop, or explain your trailing stop more.
Okay, so I think yesterday on Facebook was probably the best example. Is the best example I can use, right? Because we were long on Facebook, right here around 224. Actually, no, not even 224. That's where I cashed out some around 226. Actually, we got to 222.53. Let me actually pull up the the chart for you guys so you can see my entry. Yeah, it was that. So it was the entry off the open. And then once I'm in, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Very first thing I do when I get an entry like that is to, well, I should already know this, but where's the stop? And my stop was 219. So I got long at 222.5. We put the stop down here, 219, right? So if it broke that, then we're done. We're going to lose on the trade. We walk away from it, right? But I'm not going to move the stop unless I have a reason to. And what I look for is as it's moving up, where is it trying to go down to but not completing, and where it's being rejected, and then it continues its up move, right? So in Facebook's case was we went all the way up to 227 and then came all the way down to 224. Fine, okay. Still nothing's changed because the trade was still good. The levels haven't, the stock hasn't gone far enough, and it also hasn't given me any new information, so nothing has changed. Stop is still 219, even after a $3 or for $3.50, $4 move, it still comes back, nothing's changed. As it starts moving again towards the high and starts to really hesitate and falls off, right here, I took some profit. I'm like, you know what? There's a possibility that this just kind of fails through this 227. Let's at least lock something in and then move the trailing stop below 224. So in the event that we lost 224, then at that point, we fail the high and we fail the low, or we broke through the low. At this point, this is not going to work for me. So I can walk away from this trade, and that's perfectly fine. So got some out at 226, move this trailing stop south of 224, and we waited. It moves up to 230. Great. Now I can move the stop up from what was here to now here. Reason being, well, that previous high that we really stalled out around, that should provide some resistance or some support on the way down. So even if we came from 230, we should get some support around 227, 227.50. So if we broke that, we got underneath it, there's a whole issue there. So I'll walk away from it then. Cool. We broke 230, came back down to 228, and then we continued again. At that point, I'm like, you know what? We hesitated to 228.50. I don't like using halves, so I'll go to round numbers, 228 even. At that point, we're failing 230 if we come back to 228. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Now, as you can see, my stop has moved from 19 to 24 to 26 to 28, and now it's trading at like 232. And we're getting to the end of the day, and if you guys can see this, my exit on that was actually right near the top. The reason that's a different story though. The reason I did that was because end of the day usually brings people taking profit, right? If you're long and it's gone in a huge move to the upside, at some point people are going to take profit, especially these intraday traders like us. They're going to take profit. So for me, I knew that was coming. We were stalling around 233. I'm like, you know what? I'll just walk away. I got 232.98 as the last exit on the last little bit. At that point, I'm running out of time. I'm done. But if you were holding this for a multi-day move, why can't you just move your stop right here? Like around 229.5 and change, because that means we lose 230, right? That's the chance you take, but obviously today we kind of blew through the top, and it gets a little messy with the daily on Facebook as well. But in terms of trailing stops, I just moved them to where the stock hesitated last, as long as it makes sense, right? As long as it's clear below there, I'll just start moving the stops, and that's what I'm doing right now with Lynn. Well, I did with Lynn actually. I'm long Lynn at 311.03. I'm long right there, right? We bounced, we took off. I took some profit because it didn't look like it was going to be solid south of 315. Took some profit, and trail stop is now 311. So even if it comes back to my entry, I get out and make nothing on the remaining portion, which is half, but I've still locked in $4 on the first half. So I'm walking away with profit, but I'm giving myself a chance for this stock to get going to the upside. And I'm just quickly taking a look here. Lynn coming back in, but yeah, BAC, FTNT does not want to move. FTNT is going to be something I'm going to talk about a lot because that's such a critical trade for me. And if we start losing this 330 again, I might just walk away from this, not take the risk on this. But the daily looks so good. I really don't have a reason to, but we can't keep losing 330 like that, because this whole trade was based on the idea that 330 is gone. But if we can't maintain strength above 330, then I have to give up on the idea, because I may have misread the entry point on this, or the volume was a little bit further back than 330. Maybe it was at 332 or something like that. So I'll keep a close eye on FDNT, and I may have to dump this if it doesn't go.
Here's something. So Brian says, so you don't use trailing stops, only hard stops, OCO. Not sure what OCO is.
One cancels the other.
Okay, so I think he is basically using trailing stops, using hard stops, but you're trailing your hard stop as your stock moves into the next support or resistance areas. Instead of using our most brokers have a trailing stop function, which you can just put in like if it trails by $1 or if it trails by $1.50. Exactly, that's like a very arbitrary number. Like those percentages and those numbers are so arbitrary, and that's why I stopped using them on my own, because I would always find like I would miss out on the move even by having those trailing stops. And watching Arun trade kind of makes more sense. It is a hard stop, but he is trailing his hard stop. He's manually moving up his stops as the stock is moving for him and is working out for him.
I mean, if that's confusing to people, that trailing stops are something that's automatically calculated, because we also have that function in our system that allows you to set a trailing stop that if it moves by X percent or X dollars, it moves up by 50 cents or something like that. That's such an arbitrary thing to do, because let's just say that on Facebook, as an example from yesterday, that if we were long, and based on the percentage of the movement or whatever, it goes sideways for a bit. Now, when it moves up, the stop comes up to a point where you're exiting right there. Do you really want to exit right there? There's support right below it. And so if you're not doing that, like if the calculation is done and that's where the calculation says the stop should be, to me that bugs me, because why would you get out right where now support should be? So I manually move the stop. I call it a trailing stop because the stop is trailing the move. But you can argue that it's not an automated trailing stop. That's perfectly fine. I'm also not a fan of putting it right here. I'd rather just look at the chart and be like, you know what, it should be here, because I want this support. I want the previous resistance. I want this previous resistance to support the current trade, so I can actually let it go. Because you don't want to get out and then it spins right back around and continues its move. What's up, Neil? Neil's got some questions.
Actually, my question is for you, Arun, because I've talked about. I've talked about trailing stops being something I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more. Not something that I was used to trading for years, but I've been using the last couple of years. So I don't have the charts to be able to pull up because I'm sitting in Prad's seat right now. But if you could pull up. Oh shoot! Now now it's in my head. I'm like, it was Twilio.
Brad, why don't you show him what chart he wants to?
Yeah, I want. Which one can I show Twilio's chart?
Yeah,
here.
That one. Yeah.
So if I go TWLO, yeah. So I was in Twilio today on the reversal play. I don't know if it's my chart even on here. I can't. Yeah, you guys can probably see this. I showed it here. I don't know, Arun, if you can see 232 when it came back to the opening range top, right? Just looking for the fade play. I got the top, the curl, took some out, on the way down through VWAP there. And then I put a trail in. At the time, I was sort of thinking 215 was support. It already bounced off there once. The market was bouncing back, and I didn't want to give it all back. So I put the trail in. It comes back above 227. I end up taking $4 on the trade when there was probably another 7 or 8. It retests 232, and I don't get back in. And then it goes all the way down to the target.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Arun, is, like, how would you have approached that? Like, when it made that consolidation around, like, 1030 or so, I didn't want to give up that gain. I thought that we were going to make a run at the high of the day again, and I didn't want to be reloading the trade up there. I wasn't that confident in the level holding because ultimately they had good earnings. Right. So the question is that a good trail? I won on the stock. I can't be mad about it, but it looks terrible in retrospect. And it wasn't a percentage. I simply looked at the area of consolidation, and once it broke 225 to the downside, I put the trail in at the top end of that consolidation. So my question to you is, would you have done anything differently? I will shut up and listen.
All right, so what I'm looking at when it comes to Twilio is, now it's not a name that I was looking at. We were trading this yesterday, but today, where were you short?
So I essentially had like right at the high, like 231 change.
Okay, so you were short right here. So we can just put a little, I'll put an arrow right here. So this is where Neil was short.
Let me see his chart.
Roughly.
What's he?
So if it goes all the way down, so when it gets down to like 220.
No, I got the second move. I missed the open. I only got it as a second. Like,
so you got in right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got in right here. So where's your exit? So like, what's your stop? What's your stop?
My stop was to the high.
So 235?
Well, it was. I was giving it
a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like that's whatever. It was a little bit above the top.
Okay.
Here we
So
go.
Let's just call it
Oh, that's a little
235,
better.
maybe 236, right?
It's gonna be a little lagged up. 10
So
second delay.
you're short here. You're giving it to there, so you're risking about $5 or so,
About
right? You're looking at
a little better.
A little
Actually,
bit better.
than
Okay, let's just say like $4 or something.
Yeah.
And you're looking to take at least $4. So you can see that the market hesitated here around 225. So that could be your first target.
But I got the first 4. So I did lock that in. 1 to
Okay,
1.
so you lock that in. Once
Yeah.
you lock that in, this market's gone sideways. There's nothing to do. That's kind of why I'm kind of stuck waiting a lot, because once it gets to the first target, you can't move the trail because it hasn't gone far enough. If it goes towards the low, then you can argue that if it comes back, it could be a double bottom. But if it's sitting right here at 225, there's nothing to do, because it can still come into 230 and still activate this resistance and move right back down.
Yeah.
Right? So I wouldn't move the trailing stop on this. I'm essentially locking in $4 on the first half, pretty much like what I'm doing with Lynn, and leaving the stop where it is until the market actually moves towards the lows. And once it moves towards the lows like it did, I would just put it right here. 225. That's the area you've been looking at. So if we get back above it, then there's a problem.
Yeah. So, and come back to me for a second. So, like, basically, like, what I did wrong there, it's kind of obvious to see, is like I just had that need to lock in the profit. I took profit at the right spot, but then at that point I was trying to preserve the rest instead of letting it ride and trying to hold on to it. But the other thing, which I left this out on purpose because it shouldn't matter in a trade, was that my first read was if it tanked if it tanked off the open and didn't make that breakout, that I actually wanted to go long in front of 215. So I feel like there's a chance that initial bias of, well, I was trying to catch the bid and it already bounced off this level. Now I'm shorting into it. I should be cautious shorting into a level that I plan to buy. So maybe that's my bias getting the best of me, but that's not really an excuse. This is one of the reasons why I told you guys when we used to do one-on-ones with traders, it's always good to talk through it. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Find somebody who's got, a different style to yours, or just somebody that you can understand. Like Sean and I, you don't really see it because we're in the moment on the show. But when we're at lunchtime or whatnot, we'll go over. Oh yeah, we saw this. This is what I'm doing there. We were talking about Uber after the halt just now. But it's more about getting that other perspective, just so you can continue to grow. And that's why I'm showing you guys. Like I bungled that trade. It was probably one of my best trades today overall, just as a result. But clearly, from where I got in, how well we got the top there, I should have done a heck of a lot better. So I'm glad you guys can see, and I just wanted to make sure you guys got the advantage of learning that.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where something like this this chart is a little bit more complicated than you would like, but it's still manageable. A lot of times you take profit and then you kind of wait. You wait until the market does something new that you can work with. AB. We see your super chats. We were just caught up in a topic. Prad's got the super chats. We're gonna go over it now.
He's got a bunch, man. So you got some questions coming in over here. Some Saudi Arabian Riyals coming in.
Ooh,
almost
fancy.
50 plus Saudi Arabian Riyals coming in over here. So the first one did not have any even message. The second one says, when should I withdraw profit from my bank account? Second question, always. I day trade stock options, and usually I get in with 100K and get out within 15 minutes. Is this normal? It looks like you're scalping options there. Obviously, we don't trade options here. Arun could get deeper into it. You guys missed my 2 super chats. Yeah, obviously, I have it ready right here, as you can see. I had it ready for reading, but we just got a little distracted with the questions over there. And last but not least, with the 10 euros. Mr. Index. Okay, we have a name for you, Mr.
Okay, let's start in
with AB.
Yeah, we'll start with.
All right.
No. We'll start. Which was the oldest one?
Okay, the oldest one is Mr. Index.
All right,
I've been
let's do that
toying
one.
with the Hong Kong futures, and I see a good and delayed correlation to the S&P futures and Nasdaq. It is low and now wants to go up. Any tips for the amateur? I guess he's talking about the correlation between Hong Kong futures and the S&P/Nasdaq.
Yeah, there's a correlation between international futures, especially during certain times of the day. Hong Kong futures. I don't know too much about Hong Kong, but if you see a correlation, you've been able to figure out what does what, or which one is a leading one. Just work with it. Just kind of test the relationship a little bit out. So kind of do some testing, do some maybe very low volume trading on both of these futures, so you can actually kind of figure out what the relationship is and whether it actually is accurate. If it is accurate, then go for it and just build something around that. You see something, Now start building a strategy around that. If that means pair trading, maybe buying one, selling the other, maybe one's leading the other, you go for the one that's lagged, something like that. If you have found a relationship, just kind of build something up. Because I know there's a relationship. I've looked at the, it might still be trading. It is the FESX H22 EU. Yeah, this is the stocks 100, stocks 50. Anyway, this is a Euro stocks index. And I know there's a relationship between this and, well, actually the relationship is actually the European close, which happens at 11:30 Eastern time. There's a relationship between the close and the S&P futures themselves, so the E-minis. But then I also know that if I'd rather have a much closer relationship, why not just trade the index that these stocks are in, which is the FESX, the European index. So there is something there that I could potentially look at. I just haven't kind of gotten deep enough into it, but it's something I'm working on as well. So definitely there's relationships between different markets and different indexes and certain times of day. Just figure out the strategy, flesh out the idea, test it, and then start building maybe a position around that idea. Once you can prove to yourself that, hey, you know what I've got right, the idea that I got is accurate, and I can prove it by actually putting it on paper, then start building something. And at that point, you can actually kind of move up from that. But definitely test it first, though.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to backtest it, here's a free software that I believe you can use without paying for it. TradingView. Go on to TradingView here. Let me show you exactly how to do it. Let me close this. So what I did is I put up the Hang Seng index. Is that the right one to use? The Hong Kong Hang Seng?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it should be the Hang Seng.
Yeah, so I'm using the Hang Seng index, and what I'm doing is there's this big compare button. You hit that compare button, and you put in your ES futures, and basically this orange line is ES, and the candle charts are your Hang Seng index. And I can see the correlation, man. I can look how evenly they're moving together over here. So for sure, I can see the trade being played out. If you can back test it long enough, and you can form a strategy over there, looks like you could have an edge there. Good catch for someone in
But
Europe.
that's the thing, though. Ideas, it's easy to see that relationship.
Yeah.
Like if all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a relationship there. Now you got to find a way to make money off of it.
Exactly.
And that's where a lot of people kind of just give up, right? But if you can put in the work and figure out, hey, you know what? When this index does this, I can buy it here or something like that. Then all the power to you, because that's where the money is made, in the details. And it's just a matter of ironing out the details between that relationship, so you can actually continue to kind of just trade it out, really.
All right, so here come the big questions, the heavy hitters. When should I withdraw profit to my bank account?
When withdrawing profit doesn't impact the way you trade.
So basically when you don't need the money in your trading account.
Yeah. So he was talking about 100K.
Yeah.
If you need 100K to trade every time, and you need to be able to put on like 3-4 trades, then it sounds like you need about 300,000-400,000 in your account. If your account value is above that, then you have the luxury of withdrawing a little bit, right? You don't want to impact your ability to not execute what you do to make that money, but you do want to enjoy the money you make. So as long as it doesn't affect your ability to trade and margin, if you are margined, if you're in a cash account, that's even better. As long as it doesn't affect the ability to trade, then take out whatever money you want, really. It's just a matter of making sure that you have space to continue doing what you want to do, which is to trade, really.
And the second, the two-parter for this question is, I always trade options. I get in with 100K. It doesn't matter how much you're getting in with, but looks like you play for 15 minutes. Is this normal? Obviously, the normality of that comes between like person to person. It will change. It'll change on your setup. It will change on how your personality is. Looks like your scalping options. For example, Arun, 15 minutes seems too slow for Arun, but for 15 minutes for Sean could be a lot of time. So, but at the end of the day, they're both profitable traders. They both make money. They're both sitting here educating me on how to do something similar. So it's just different strategies.
He's learning to go my way a little bit more
Yeah.
now. So me and him are talking a little bit more on how he wants to be able to hold a little bit longer. And obviously when you're kind of scalping, it's kind of harder. He's getting there, though.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
So I guess that's the idea, boy. So the question he's asking, is that normal? I guess it depends on you if it's normal or not. It depends on what
Are you a
want out of the
scalper?
setup.
Are you not a scalper? If you're not a scalper and you're holding for 15 minutes, then it seems like there's some work to do because you're not letting your positions move around. I also don't know the options game, right? So if you're, my strength is not in options. I know very little. What I know is just the basic stuff. So I'm not going to dig deep into, maybe you should let it go this far and delta and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not my game. I don't know it well enough. But I do know that if you're trying to make an options play or a stock play or a Forex play, and it's meant to be for a multi-day read and you're getting out in 15 minutes, then you're cutting your trade short. You're doing all this work for a multi-day move, and then you're cutting it after 15 minutes. That's a problem. If you're basing it off on a 15-minute chart, and you're like, you know what, I got the position. If it goes, great. And then 15 minutes later, you're like, it's going to slow down, so I'm going to get out now. That's fine too. If you're scalping, that's perfectly fine. It fits within the framework of what you set for yourself, right? So as long as it fits within the framework, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But it's a matter of you knowing what you're trying to do. As long as you know that, and then you can be like, yeah, that's fine.
So going back to a couple stocks that I'm trading, I'm still holding on to the true trades that I'm in, the DraftKings and the AMD. AMD obviously doing a whole lot of nothing one more time, 18 cents in the money. DraftKings, though, making a new high a day, getting ready to keep on going up. Market almost back to 15K. Why is my mouse so bad? Market's almost getting back to 15,000 over here. Let's go NASDAQ. Obviously, I really... believe the market does not want to close too far to the negative today. I mean, obviously...
We can close positive.
It's very likely.
Very doable.
Very doable.
And I would appreciate another 20-point move because it enters into a range where I can actually start looking for fades.
Okay.
For me, I'm just
for your future trades?
I'm just itching for this market to get above 45.80 and then slow down and activate some form of short, because I've been waiting for some form of a read in this market for such a long time now. I'm like, we're finally getting close. I thought we got close this morning when we dipped down into the 20s. I'm like, just set it up. This entire time, I'm just like, set it up, just set it up, just set it up. And by the time we set it up, I was like, now I can't afford it because it's gone too far. And then now we're going to continue this move to the upside. Okay, keep going then. If we're going to do if this is the route that we're going to go today, let's just keep going. And that way we can actually enter into a zone where I can actually find another trade to work with. So I would rather just do that than have this market trade around 65 the rest of the day, because that's kind of useless for me.
Indeed. So obviously DraftKings allowing me to hold on to it a little bit longer, while AMD just putting me to bed over there. No money being offered and no losses being offered either. So I guess we'll just leave that stock alone. Thanks a lot. I love you guys, says AB with another 1999 Saudi Arabian Riyals. Thank you, my friend, for the love and support that you're showing us today. And everyone out there who's showing us in their own separate ways. You know, obviously one of them involves smashing that like button. Only at 911. Come on, guys. Wow, that sounded I don't know why it came out that way, but only at 911 likes. Come on, let's smash that. Let's increase that number. Obviously, you know, we're not even at 1K yet. Every time the 2 days that I've been away, Arun's managed to make it 2,000 by this time. So maybe the problem here is me, is what I'm recognizing.
Prove
so guys,
him wrong, guys. Prove him wrong,
yeah,
and let's get to 2K today.
Yeah,
we're at 900. We're an hour and a half in. We're almost halfway through what our target should be for the day. So if we can get to 2K, then Prad knows it's not him. It's just, you know, it was just, people just, I guess, liked the fact that it was just a solo thing. I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. Just hit the likes and see if we can't get it up to 2K. Because, hey, we did 2.1 on Tuesday. We did 2K on Monday. And we did 3.3
Friday?
On Friday.
Yeah.
3.3 for getting Platinum Prad. So it is doable. We know it's out there. It's just a matter of why does nobody want to hit the like? But when there's 3,200 people watching, do you guys not like the content? Like, just let us know. Put it in the chat. Why is it that likes aren't coming in? Because obviously we want to move up in the YouTube algorithm to get more views, right? That's one thing. I think the community could use it. A lot of people seem to get value out of watching either Sean and Neil trade or me and Pratt trade, and then, you know, more people we get, the better it is for the show overall. So I think that's kind of the upside that we're looking for.
I keep seeing the homie's message, Coin King, coin with the K. He keeps asking the same question again and again. And the question was basically, how many stocks are on your watch list? So the number one thing I would tell you is go to TraderTV.Live and sign up for our watch list over here. Our daily watch list every day, curated to you by Brandon and Miss Veeb. Obviously, she's on her vacation. So right now, just Brandon. Brandon comes here stupid early, stupid early, and just for you guys, gets all this prep done, right? So this is on our watch list today. Look at the amount of stocks on there. Sometimes it's not that big, sometimes it's smaller, but obviously when the market's moving, and you can also go on our website, go on our watch list, and basically go on the archive, look at previous watch lists, look for the reasoning why the stock was on our watch list, and so on. So sign up for our watch list today. We have a bunch of stocks on here. How many stocks are on Arun's watch list or my watch list will also depend on our own setups. You know, obviously depends on how many stocks Arun can handle trading at one time. He said, what's your limit, like 10, 15?
We were getting close. I was going to say it was roughly around 15, but I was sitting at like, I think 12 or 13 this morning. But I had some important positions that I was like, oh man, I can't take on any more because like Mookie said, I was within the bands of my processor.
Yeah.
But I think a couple more and it would have been
almost
not good.
overclocked.
Yeah, I would have been overclocked, and I wasn't ready to be overclocked. So I wasn't going to take any more, but I definitely was fairly close to kind of limiting out on the amount of positions I can manage at a certain time. Especially, like, it's an issue when at the beginning of a trade, it's easy, right? Your entry is there, your exit's there. That's your entry point, your stop is wherever. But when they all start moving, and some of them move faster than others, now you got to start going, oh, where's my trail? Where's my trail? And then if they all start going, I got to start moving trails on each one of them. So I got to go through each and every one and be like, oh, this is where I should put the stop. And then that becomes a little tedious if I've got a lot, obviously, right? Some of the shorts are stellar. Some of the shorts are garbage right now. Like Goose is garbage. TWOU is stellar. And then just on like that on the opposite side, we had some great longs and some longs that ran us over. So it's just one of those things. I'm just looking down because I just noticed in our chat here, I noticed that Greg and one of the other guys is going back and forth about the Raptors trading for Thad Young, giving up
Trae Young?
Thad Young with the Spurs, giving up Goran Dragic and a first round pick. Yeah, something like that.
So
I don't even know the trade, actually.
Do you watch basketball on a regular basis?
No.
Oh, okay. We got more super chats coming in hot. Thank you for the Mr. Index answer, Mr. Index. That's funny, you know, on our on this other platform where we talk to other traders, everyone has their names, and my name is Mr. Always Digging Out of Holes because I start my month off by getting in a hole, and then I spend the rest of the month getting out of the hole. But at the end of the day, as long as my months are positive, that's all I care about.
You should just get a shovel.
A shovel, Mr. Shovel?
Shovel.
Yeah, so Mr. Index is your name, I guess. That's pretty cool. €5 to you, Mr. Index.
I mean, there's Mr. Index, Robot. There's I've had
that's
a
true.
few.
That's true.
I've
That's
heard
true.
Robot quite a few times. So
What's that robot? What's a bad robot? So I don't want to call you that robot's
Which
name.
robot?
From the movie iRobot, the AI Arya. Have you seen the Will Smith movie?
Yeah.
That robot was a bad robot. You're not a bad person. So
what
we
was
will,
the other robot's name? The one that was
the good robot
yeah.
doesn't have a name.
Oh.
Oh, it does actually. I think
is
I
it?
forget.
Just call it Robot.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
Robot, guys.
Yeah, the
Let's
droid.
go with that.
So John Wilkins, is it John Wicks or just maybe John Wilkins with a $3
It says
super
Wilkins.
chat?
Where did you get Wicks from? There's no C in there.
Yeah, I got it wrong for a second. Yeah, Wilkins. It's a $3 super chat. You never know. Maybe John Wicks is in here with the wrong last name just to trick us, you know? And then here comes the next one with the $5 super chat, Hayden708. It would be nice to see the positions you guys are currently trading like the morning show. Hey, man, well, we do show it to you. Look
Show
at
my
this.
screen. My screen is like full of reds and greens.
Exactly. So over here, you see my DraftKings up 40 cents and my AMD up 20 cents. And if I go over to the homie screen on the same side, left side corner, look how many positions he has. So we actually do show our positions. Obviously, it's not like the morning show where there's a ticker tape at the bottom rolling through.
We're
telling
not that
you,
fancy yet.
Yeah, we're not that fancy just yet. Mark's grinding. Hey, listen, man, Mark's spending too many hours on the ladder. How many more hours do you want the poor man up there? The amount of wires he's got going going on over here. I don't even know how he's dealing with it. Give that man some time. We're going to get that ticker tape rolling at the bottom. Everything's going to be exactly like the morning show except for the commentary, because obviously we can't compete with Neil and Sean over there. But come on, put some likes in the chat for our homie Mark for getting everything going over here. Come on, guys. Smash that like button. Smash that like
saying
button.
that a lot of them are forgetful. So it's just up to us to kind of just remind them. So we just got to constantly remind them.
Exactly.
Simple as that. Hit the like.
So that was for that. And then the last super chat just came in. I always hit like, but Arun, I think people like you in the midday because you are like a computer in the morning show. But the midday show, your personality is vibing with the people. Makes sense.
It depends on the day, right? It's been good right up until today, and now I'm just like, oh, I got positions. I'm pretty much right back to what I do on the morning show, which is figure out my positions, processing mode. Since we're going to go down that robot and computer idea, it's processing mode, processing everything that I've got to deal with on my screen. So today, now I've got to a point where everything is under control. Like, I don't have to do too much anymore. There's nothing, to be fair, there's nothing else to do. Everything that I needed to cash out has been cashed out. Everything that needed to get the stop needed to be moved on. Stop has been moved, and then obviously there's a few losers on the short side there. But again, stops are there. They'll take care of themselves. So I don't really have to do a whole lot anymore. So now I can relax a little bit, look at the chat a little bit more, and see what else you guys are saying. Oh, by the way, I saw the chat was talking about 1,000 was a resistance on likes, and we got through 1,000. We're now at 1.2, so the trend, as someone said in the chat, is up for likes.
Nice.
So we're trending up on likes right now, and I think we can get to 2K. We can just accelerate. We're at 3K in people. I think we can get to 2K at the very least.
We have this function on our chat called Crystal Ball, but I had to take it away from the daily users. Only select users that I pick can use it, and moderators can.
What's a crystal ball?
C-ball, crystal ball. So basically, you're rubbing this crystal ball to tell you the future.
Okay.
So I just rubbed the crystal ball to ask the question: will Arun stay on the midday show? And Crystal Ball says, ask again later. Crystal Ball does not have an answer for that question.
Trust me, no one has an answer for that. Because listen, as much as you guys are asking, there's a lot of questions being asked on my end. Well, not on my end, but like there's been a lot of pressure been put towards me. And I'm just kind of like, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. I appreciate coming on here once in a while, but I don't know if, I rather not. But that my mind can be changed. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to say no for the time being, but my mind can be changed. I'm open to the idea, but we got to work some stuff out.
What if we get 5K likes?
It's not about likes. And we'll figure it'll come down to it. There'll be a sit down. I'll figure all that stuff out. But I'm sure you guys will get an answer, because with the amount of work being put into a brand new desk, there's going to be some changes. Maybe me being on the show is a change that's definitely being attempted. Right now, the resistance level is me. I'm the resistance level.
We gotta break that resistance.
They need to get through that resistance to get that green light. But for the time being, I'm gonna say no. But hey, things can change always.
So people were talking about XOM earlier. XOM actually making its move to the downside. Let's see if XOM can find support yesterday's close. I guess we're kind of near yesterday's low. Let me quickly pull it up over here. XOM. Exxon Mobil. So yesterday's low, we just took it out. 78.66 was the yesterday's low. Heading a little bit down to see if we can find support at today's low. Looks like around 70. What is the low? 78.48. So not too far from there, but kind of flat on the day. Obviously, if you go to XLE, let's go check out what XLE on Amex is doing. I'm going to expect a lot of flat moves. Yeah, positive, but flat, imitating, I guess XOM is bringing down XLE over here. Maybe possible that other stocks in the XLE index are also bringing it down. Let's go check on some of the tech sector stocks. You guys know what AMD is doing. Absolutely nothing. 50 cents in the money. I want to go see if Microsoft has moved from the lows. It did indeed. So it gave you that opportunity to reload for the long over here at the low of the day, almost close to the low of the day actually. Ended up going back above VWAP, down 1.6% on the day now with 14 million shares traded. Let's go check out Tesla. Tesla is still not managing to actually break past 940, even though we went to 944. Did go to 944, went to. My English is so broken up right now. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, 944. We did go to 944 and getting a nice $4 move off a 940 break, but immediately coming back through, testing VWAP for some support, successfully finding said support, and now trying to make that lower high, higher low and higher high pattern back to the highs if it's possible with the overall market. And wow, as soon as I said about the overall market, here comes a big down candle back to VWAP on the 3-minute.
Whoa.
Yeah, so big 3-minute down candle. What's up, Arun?
No. That was just a futures swipe for. There is something going on in the futures.
Yeah, the
We just fell
futures
20
getting
points there.
swiped right now.
That was 15,000 contracts.
15,000 contracts?
Yeah.
Wow, on the ES, like the big one?
Yeah.
Wow, so 15,000 contracts on the ES just got smacked on the bids. Looks like somebody somewhere knows something, or market kind of getting scared maybe. I'm just looking over to see if the CNBC has something going on.
Different. No, we got to start.
Oh, this is something different. He says this is something bigger. AMD getting whacked off that. I got to get out of my AMD now. I got to get out of everything now. DraftKings is probably going to do something similar. So let me look at my DraftKings over here. Let me just flatten that trade, take that money out of there. So I'm just processing the amount of contracts you said. How much notional is that?
15,000 times 220,000
Calculator,
Do the math.
15,000
times 200 and call it 20. Oh, it's $225,000.
225,000. So that's $33 million that someone just smacked on the bids for the futures there. That's insane. Looks like we can forget the futures going positive right now.
Well,
let's throw it to Arun.
Well, I'm gonna say I don't want to say like panic, but that's an aggressive cross at a resistance level that we were stalling around. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. So I'm going to start to look at these banks have been weak. I'm going to start unloading some of these weaker names because that's not a good look. So banks, I'm going to walk away from banks. I'll take the hits on the banks because I was looking for a run. Doesn't look like we're going to get that move yet. FTNT was the big problem. That was sitting pretty too. And now, I don't know, this is kind of... All right, if we end up south of 329, we stay there. I'm going to walk away from FTNT because that 330 is now becoming a problem. So we're going to walk away from that. TWO, the shorts are fine. They're positioned well. CVS, Goose, I'll be okay with. I got to take care of FTNT because that's the issue. Lin is coming back in, but that's also protected, right, with the trail stop. All right, we're going to walk away from Lin. We'll just take the profit on Lin since we're losing that 313 for like the 4th time today.
If you want to manage, let me know.
Yeah, can you do this while I
for
take
sure,
care of
for
some
sure.
stuff?
So we'll let Arun manage here, guys. He's got a bunch of positions. Obviously, you guys know that. Look at that volume candle on ES, man. How rare is it to see a volume candle as big as the opening candle on the futures? Obviously, I don't trade futures. I can't tell you the answer, but that looks pretty drastic. And especially when you mention, I'm still doing the math. JD says 33 billion. JD, nice, 33 million. Okay, you corrected yourself. Okay, never mind. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm not wrong here by saying 33 mil instead of if it is 33 bill. So overall, yeah,
it's 33 million.
Yeah,
33 billion is like
insane.
It's like north of like 100,000 contracts or something.
Yeah, that would be insane.
So that's not a completely different story there when it comes to future. Anyways, go back.
I'll try to find some articles here. Let's see if we can find anything. Why did I click on that? Let's go see if we could go. I'm not even sure how I would find anything. I mean, I would need. Oh, here we go. I know how I would find something. We use Brandon, the icon man himself. What is this? Favors first half point U.S. rate increase since 2000. Favors balance sheet reduction since balance sheet reduction start in second quarter. So Q2 looks like rate increases coming in, and Q2 looks like balance sheet reduction coming in from the Fed. And all of this overall is going to be... Can I move my mouse? All of this is going to start scaring people a little bit because rate increase, money is going to cost money, things are going to cost things. Things are going to cost things. It's going to cost money to borrow money. And it's going to be harder to invest that money into the market because obviously so far in our life money has just been handing out to us. But now if the money that is being handed out to us is going to cost some extra money on top of that, a little premium, that's going to be a little bad for the market. So you can expect the multiples that the markets have been moving in to start thinning down a little bit. You can expect interest rates going going up by I don't know how much, but I think they said what half a point or 1
They're
point.
favoring a half a point more because
Half a
initially it was
point.
meant to be a 25 basis point move, and now the odds of 50 basis point move has gone up close to 50%. I think it was sitting at like 30% probability. Now it's sitting at much higher, towards 50%.
So what should I notice on? Shouldn't I notice banks going up based on an interest rate decision then? Because like if interest rates are going up, that should be a great no for bank, right? Banks should start printing that money back into their pockets.
you would think
JPM, sorry.
You would think that.
Yeah.
But there's been weakness in banks well before, I think for the last hour and change, because I've been in the banks. I've been in Wells Fargo. I've been in Bank of America. They've been somewhat weak as we were near the highs. So the fact that the market's moving down now, I don't see how they can regain strength now. If anything, the very first thing I would look at, because we're talking about the Fed, is TLT.
TLT.
Right? Come back to my screen.
Sure.
TLT is the 20-year Treasury. That fell off. That's what. Anytime you're dealing with Fed-related moves, you want to look at two things: gold, and you want to look at the Treasuries. Right? We don't have access to the actual interest rate, or not the interest rate, the bond futures, or even just bonds themselves. So I look at the TLT. You can look at the ETF here, and you can see the trend was down, and then we just finally took the low just now. So this is going to be a problem for if TLT is starting to fall off, market's going to, then you're looking at a much bigger problem for the rest of the day. If we can't find any stability, there's a lot of space to the downside. So as you can see, I've shed a lot of this position. Lin is done. I've walked away from Lin. I've walked away from the banks, taking the hit on banks. Fortinet, FTNT. I was on the fence about that 330 as we were up like $1 and change. But after losing that 330 for the fourth time, I'm just like, I'm done. I'll take the hit, walk away. I don't need to sit on this, especially if the market has much more space to the downside. I'm leaving the shorts in play, but I'm definitely going to be protecting the longs. MFC and UL are the two longs I'm going to protect. DKNG is, I think, too far away for me to do anything with. I'm not going to dump it for the sake of dumping it. I'm dumping it at specific locations, right? If I don't think we can regain a certain level, then I'm going to dump it. But if we're somewhat close to an exit point, like DKNG is close to that 50, so if we lose 50, 23.50, I'll dump that, walk away. I'm going to lose the 24 resistance level anyways, or the support break. So I'm going to walk away from DKNG if we go another 10 cents. And then Lucid is the other one. So by this move and Fortinet, FTNT being a loser, I'm going to be negative on the day. But I think if we can continue on the futures, I can definitely make some money back as we move on the futures. Lucid, I'm going to start dumping as well. Pride, can you
For sure.
take over?
We got some more super chats over here. So we got some super chat from Doc Brown. Nowhere can you get this free education. Damn right, baby. Smash that like button. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Ron Williams and Doc and Luis Balbuena. All of you, welcome to the family. Welcome back to the green side, Luis. If I know this is not your first time. And Ron Williams, I think I have seen you on the green side too. But Doc Brown, I think this is the first time me noticing that name. So if this is your first time, welcome to the Trader TV family. And Ganguly, thank you for censoring that out, my guy. I appreciate that, obviously. Don't be a little baby, as Arun told me. So I guess you're telling Arun to not be a little baby and stay on the show. I get it. Yeah, don't break rule number 1, Arun. Stay on the show, obviously. But here goes your treasury. Why is this? It doesn't look like it's moving for me for some reason.
No, it moves, but it's not. It doesn't have the same kind of flow you would expect from a stock.
Okay.
It's just it moves a little bit more. It has very quick pace of moves, right? It
Fair.
speeds up, slows down, speeds up, slows down. So it doesn't have the slow. I think the best example would be, actually no, not even SPY.
Like a penny,
No,
like a
no.
SQQQ.
Maybe one of those triple leverage ETFs.
Yeah.
It's probably closer to that. It's already done 15 million in the day in terms of volume, but definitely gonna be something to keep an eye on as these futures now starting to bounce a little bit. But I mean, hey, I'll take my hits where I need to. I don't need to hold on for hope that we're going to flash to brand new highs because I have options now, right? So options meaning like if we were to take out highs, let's just say we take out that 80 level, I can now work maybe a short in something on the future side of things. So I don't need to hold out hope that these stocks are going to bounce back up, and they might bounce back up, and I might be like, oh man, I got out for no reason, but I did. I got out for a reason. There was a reason. FDNT, I got out because that 330 was not helping me, and then we lose the futures too. Yeah, at that point, I don't need to hold on and see if we get a nice little bounce. But now it does look like it's going to snap back, so maybe now I can actually start working some exits on these longs. I'm not going to dump them all, but maybe I can start taking some profit. So in the event that we have another leg to the downside, at least I'm walking away with something on these longs that I've got.
I was just checking on SoFi because someone mentioned, is this bad for SoFi also? You know, obviously SoFi getting their chartered bank rights and so on to become an actual bank now. If it's not good for JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, I'm not sure how good it's going to be for a bank company who makes $0 at the moment.
To be fair, higher interest rates should be good for banks.
Yes.
But it's just today banks have been weak.
Yeah.
After the initial strength off the open, they found resistance, and they are it's being a problem. I don't know why that relationship is in play today, but it's definitely being a problem. So if banks have resistance today, just respect that. And, you know, SoFi has its own thing, has its own setup, but just be aware that banks seem to be a little bit weaker. And just as I say that, TLT is taking off towards 136 now, another 20-cent move in the treasury, in the treasury ETF on the 20-year. So keep an eye on that. TLT is in quite the trend to the downside, and it does look like it's accelerating a little bit more now. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit okay about dumping not everything, but a lot of these. Did I get out of MS? Yeah, I dumped some of MFC as well in front of these 10s. So we're long at what, 2150.98. So I got some midpoints in there. So I got 2151, call it. So we're walking away with 56, 57 cents on a portion. And then I think if we lose 22 even, I'll just dump the rest as well. So as you can see, based on what I'm seeing on the futures, I am starting to work away from a lot of these longs. So we'll just lock as much as possible in these longs. MFC's in the money. UL, can I take some profit on UL? Yeah, actually, I probably should too. Brad, can you handle this?
One comment I see in the chat: if I hit like every day, I get nothing but stock market videos in my feed. Is that a complaint about stock market videos? Obviously, here's a suggestion that I would give. Is go to your YouTube, go to your homepage, any of the stock videos that you don't want to see. Obviously, I have UFC, I have Steve over here, I have First We Feast, I have a whole bunch of stuff, you know, because all I do is watch YouTube all day, even at home and whatnot. But let's say here's a video that you don't want to watch. Just hit not interested and explain why that you're not interested. Maybe like, I've already watched the video, submit, and that's it. You won't be recommended that anymore. This helps the algorithm. You know, the AI learns by your activity and what you do. So if you tell the AI, hey AI, I don't like you spamming me with a million trading videos a day. You know, I trade all day. I don't want to be looking at more trading. Hey, you know what? I'm done watching Israel Adesanya's face. I'm tired of it. I know he's fighting this week. I don't care about it anymore. Just hit that undo. Just ignore that. But make sure you're still smashing that like button, because it helps the YouTube algorithm for our side, and it pushes it out to other people. But on your side, I do get it. I understand that the nuance and the pain in the derriere that it gives you, because it just spams you with a bunch of garbage videos all over the place, especially from other YouTubers who are not with the high level content that we're outputting over here. So obviously, if you're not seeing Trader TV recommendations on your homepage, I would be pissed off too. But here, come put in the joke away over there. SoFi is what I'm talking about right now. Still up 2%. I love SoFi. This is my long-term play. I actually bought more SoFi on my long-term account yesterday. I basically have doubled up on my position on SoFi, and then I think I bought. Did I buy anything else yesterday? I don't think I bought anything else. I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I think I wanted to buy Facebook, but I was like, nah, I don't even like Facebook. Why would I buy even one share of Facebook? If I don't like the company, I'm not gonna do it. So I just said, screw it. Sorry?
Money's money.
Money's money, yeah. But like, I don't like Facebook, so I'm just gonna put it on SoFi instead. That's my idea. Kind of following Papa Buffy over there. That's pretty much it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You want me to still go ahead? Or?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool.
All right. I see comments in here saying Fed's Bullard favors 100 basis points by July. Oh boy, that's an accelerated schedule. Damn.
Sorry, okay. What?
100 basis points. Well, based on we need to confirm this, but
okay.
Based on what someone in the chat saying that the Bullard, one of the Fed members, is saying He favors 100 basis points by July. I mean, if we do 50 in March, and the next meeting is what, 6 weeks after? So March, and then you're looking at April, mid-April meeting, end of May, July. Yeah, that's 2 meetings after. So based on what he's saying, it's 50. It could be 50 and then 25 by July. That's quite the schedule there. But anyways, futures bouncing off a little bit. We need to confirm that. I will look into it. That's just based on what you guys are seeing or what you guys are reading. But I will definitely read into that a little bit more, because that is one hell of a schedule to go on, to go that fast within 6 months. So for now, though, bouncing, and I'm using these bounces, the market to bounce. And again, like I said, I don't really care if it bounces all the way back to the high. I just need to start cashing out some of these longs, because it was on the fence, and now with this type of movement, this is going to be a problem. So I'd rather just start exiting on bounces. MFC has been cashed out. Half has been cashed out. And then UL, I have an order out for UL. DKNG as well. DKNG, you can see here, I'm long north of 24. So if we can get the futures to bounce back a little bit more, when I mean a little bit, I mean another 15 to 20 cents or so, I'm gonna end up taking a hit, but the hit's gonna be like 6 cents or something, 6 or 7 cents, if I can get it out just in front of 24. That's what I'm aiming for. But if we, on the flip side, if we lose 50, I'll just take the hit. I'll just walk away from that. There's no point in holding on. But we are not locking it, but we're leaving the shorts in play. CVS, Goose, SGen, TWOU, which has been a stellar trending move. We're going to leave all those untouched. I'm just going to start walking away from some of these longs and maybe limiting the damage on DKNG. We already took the hit on FTNT, so I know that's going to be, some money that I've got to make back, because that was quite the move to the downside. We just dumped it as it took out 328. And the spread was there too, so you paid up a little bit to get the exit, but hey, that's a $3 hit, and we can walk away from that. At least now I don't have to deal with FTNT and its nonsense around 330, right? So that's my whole thing. It was so positioned well. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't get enough support to get through the high, because I think if we got through the high and failed, it's a different type of trade versus a trade that just kind of worked around 330, bounced up, bounced down, flashed down now, and then now is starting to make its way back towards 330. So there goes TLT again. Treasuries going again to the downside. Another 10 cents after popping up a little bit. So there's been a lot of repositioning happening, it sounds like, based on this little news there on, oh yeah, it is. Look at this. This is the TLT. Anytime you get Fed news, guys, you look at this first. TLT, 20-year. Let's take a quick look at the 1-minute chart. And that's what you're getting. You see the volume. Well, you don't see the volume here, but when you get this kind of action, you're definitely getting some volume coming in, because it was just at 136.40. Now it's at 136 even. That's a new low, and we're still, we flashed down. We're coming back in a little bit, so there's definitely some volume moving through the board on TLT, and SGen is flat. I think I'm done. I think everything I needed to unload and everything I needed to get out of, I'm done. DKNG has a new stop, so we'll just leave it be. All right, what do we got here?
Is Bullard like the
He's one of the Fed members. He's a voting Fed member.
Okay, but the Fed top of the leaderboard is Powell.
Yeah.
So why isn't he talking?
No, because this is not like access to Powell. He's not like someone who's gonna be there to say something unless there's a reason for it, like a meeting. But other Fed members, because they're not in front of everything, they can have their own opinions, and sometimes they just say, I favor this, but he's one voting member.
So it's not true that this is gonna.
No, he's
happen.
one member that will vote in favor of this.
Okay.
Right now, if other members agree and they get to a point where more they get to a consensus, then that's kind of the direction they're going in. But it's kind of a big deal when one voting member comes out and says, hey,
I'm going this way.
I favor this way.
Yeah.
Right? That's a pretty big deal, because that could signal that even though he's the one saying it, it could signal that other members are also feeling a certain way about it.
Right.
And then the votes can change in that direction. So that's what you got to look at as well. That's what they pay attention to. And that's why like everyone who talks, right? There's a person for the Kansas City Fed, the New York Fed. There's so many different members, voting members, and they cycle through every few years. that when it's a voting member that has the ability to kind of cast a vote in one direction, everyone pays attention. Obviously not Powell, but they pay attention. Because Powell essentially at the end of the day kind of gets them all together, figures out what the votes is, maybe tries to change the minds, and then that's the direction they go. If everyone's voting one way and Powell's like, I mean, he's got to just read out the vote and say, hey, we're going this way because that's what the way that the members voted. But you're going to see more often than not a big consensus, usually like it's 80% in one direction versus the other. But hey, TLT now popping up 60 cents.
Yeah, nice pop on there.
Nice little pop there. Big moves on the treasuries right now.
Nice pop on the TLT indeed. People were talking about Disney making a move back north. I saw Disney moving on my other screen for sure while Arun was talking about TLT over there. And what I did notice on the other side too was AMD. AMD, you know, I guess that move in the future scared me a little bit. I chickened out. The first drop on AMD, I held it. Basically, I said I'll hold it to the low of day breaks. And then once that drop comes, I'm like, nah, forget that. I'm not holding to nothing. I'm getting out of this one before it gets ugly. And actually, it didn't even get that ugly. We're coming back to my break-even point right now. So I guess I could have just ended break-even on this trade.
But that you can say that after the fact, too,
exactly.
Because I'm looking at FTNT. FTNT is right back to where I got in. So instead of taking the hit that I did, it was like $3 or something, I could have just been like, oh, it's going to come back. I can wait it out. But given what I've seen, is it worth it to put up the extra risk to hold on hold?
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, of course, if it works out.
Yeah.
If it keeps going, let's just say I got out of FTNT where I got out and it continued another $4 or $5. My stop was like another $2 away. I mean, do I really need to put up the extra $2 to
No.
kind of see that? If I don't like what the chart's already doing, I can just walk away from it without damaging too much, right? So it's a way of managing. Sometimes it's not about making money; it's about damage control or risking damage to your account. And if a trade isn't working out the way you think it should, if it's not reacting a certain way, sometimes you see me say that, right? It's not reacting a certain way at around a certain price because I wanted to, move this way. Sideways is one thing, but if you're starting to see volume around certain prices that shouldn't really be there, if the read was completely the opposite direction, like FDNT should not have this kind of action around 330. Now, of course, it can take off on me, and I could be taking a loser when I could have been taking a winner, but I'm okay with my decision to get out because it was a little iffy at best going to 331, and now we're kind of back there at 330, and hey, I'm going to move on from FDNT. I've got other positions to manage. I've got CVS, I've got Goose, TWOU, UL, we've taken some out of, yep.
Do you own a Canada Goose jacket?
Do I own one?
Yeah.
No.
No?
I find them to be too...
flashy?
No, yeah. I mean, like, it's not flashy, it's just... I like more sleeker stuff.
Okay. They have
find
sleek stuff.
Not a fan. I found like they're mostly parkas and...
Yeah.
Anyways, I've got one from... not Canada Goose, from... something Shark.
Shark.
It's on my jacket or somewhere. Anyways, no, it's no. Anyways,
Tricks.
it doesn't really matter. I've got a different
The name,
one.
yeah. But
I went through there because when I went to get my jacket, I was like, oh, I probably need a new jacket, and they had obviously the different brands they had. They're like, oh, why don't you take a look at the Canada Goose like Black Label? Is there something? Yeah, Black Label. And then I looked.
No,
at
they
it,
have
I'm
way
like,
too many for me to remember.
and then I'm like, oh no, I'm not a fan of that look. I'm like, I've had that look for years. I like to move away from it. So
Yeah.
I got like this like quilted design thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My dad wanted one, so I'm
Not
thinking
Jim
about buying
Shark,
him
not
one
Jim
next
Shark.
time. Jim Shark.
Jim
That's
Shark.
for the boxing.
No, let me get up and actually
fits.
look at it.
That's for the boxing fits over there. Jim Sharks. Prad's fashion bus? No, I'm just asking because he's trading Canada Goose. I was wondering if he has ever had one.
Oh, it's Paul and Shark.
Paul and Shark.
Paul and Shark Yachting is what it's called. Yeah. Anyways,
Are you? So you said you're not a fan of Canada Goose, obviously.
I just don't like the design. Not the design. I just don't like the look. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
and
I just
they're
like more
so
sleeker stuff.
expensive.
I mean,
Like
all
$1,000.
jackets, huh?
They're like $1,000 a piece.
I mean, they get up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, at that point, you're buying it for the name, though, right?
Yeah.
More often than not, you're buying it for the name, not necessarily for.
I think my jacket was like $500, and I was like, "That's the best I'll spend. I'm not going more than that. Forget
To be
going
fair,
$1,000."
This one was 12.
1,200?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going $1,000, bro. Nah, spending like 500 plus tax. I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Jackets are the thing because you need them in Canada, but at the same time, it depends. If you're commuting, you need a warm jacket. So a
Yeah.
lot of people that are commuting have these.
It has lasted me 5 years though.
Yeah, and I would hope that if you're spending a decent amount of cash, it would last you a while, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, though, like a lot of people that are commuting need those parkas, right? I mean, like, you need that warmth.
Yeah.
For me, like, I'm driving a lot now. I find myself driving a lot more than
Jacket just sitting in the back.
No, not even. I have the jacket on, but
Fair.
it's not like so puffy that I can't drive. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like the worst thing is like you're sitting in a puffy jacket and like you're trying to get to the steering wheel.
That's my
it's in the
jacket
way.
like that right now, bro. I'm sitting and I'm literally taking out like 2 seats, but when I don't have my jacket, I'm like taking like 1 seat. I'm like, bro, why does this jacket make me look like Michelin Man? All right, 500 on a jacket, that's crazy. Yeah, but they are pretty warm though. Obviously, you guys know my brand name has a little negative connotation with the term, the word, so I won't say it because you guys are clowns in the chat and will abuse the crap out of it. But the jacket is a well-known brand name. It's expensive as heck, but Canada Goose is like it's like 2x that. So forget that. I'm not
that's the
spending
thing,
that.
You get to a point where the jacket or the clothing item no longer is because of the quality.
Nope.
But because
The
of
label.
The name.
Yeah.
Name. Like the name. I've seen so.
Balenciaga hoodies.
Okay, so we're in like a ritzier part. The office is like maybe a 10-minute walk from one of the ritziest parts of this city, right? Yorkville.
Yep.
So you get all the fancy stores. So any fancy designer that you want to find, you're going to find it down the street. So if you go up that way, obviously we have some stores that sell large, like, I guess Hope Renfrew is like an upscale
Yeah, for
department
sure.
store.
For
Is it a
sure.
department store?
It's like they sell Gucci and
Yeah,
Pradas
so
in
they
there.
sell all the high end,
Yeah.
all the top end names, and some of the stuff in there is so ugly. I'm just like, what? You really can't be selling this. People can't be buying this. Come on, man.
Bro, like unbelievable. Balenciaga hoodies be going for like $900 when it only says like a couple letters on there. You could have got that printed from the same company that prints our Trader TV merch from. Hey, since we're talking about clothes and everything, let's just have a nice clean segue about merch. 1.3K likes, let's go. We're almost at 1.5, so keep running that up. We still got about 42 minutes left on this show. So am I saying that right? 48
bro,
minutes. 48 minutes left on this show.
Matt the problem for you?
Yeah, Matt's a little mad. I think that punch affecting me a little bit on all fronts over here. But no, so obviously 1.3K likes. Run that up. Let me unzoom that because I don't like that zoom over there. All right, so go to our homepage. This is what the homepage looks like. And where's merch at? What the heck? Did we take our merch out? Community. Whoa.
Is the merch gone?
Maybe we need to talk to Miss V about this. Merch is supposed to be somewhere here. The merch link
No,
is
merch
linking.
is here. I see it here.
I'll throw it over to you then.
Yeah, merch is just scroll down. I don't know why. When you're watching the video, if you scroll down, there's hats.
Yeah, it's not on the page anymore.
Not on his. Anyways, well, they've got what do they got? They got hats. I think Sean has a couple hats here. Hoodies. I've got the hoodie on. That's my kind of go-to when I'm in the office. For everyone wondering why am I always wearing a hoodie? Because it's cold, man. I leave this hoodie here, and then I come down, sit down, and I put it on, and it's like there's just cold air blowing on your face. There's also T-shirts, phone cases. There's actually pretty decent hoodies. There's one called one that has the logo, the small logo, and that says "I'd rather be trading" on the back. And then the one with the big logo, obviously, and the white one too. If you guys can keep white clean, good for you, because I cannot. So I'd rather just go with the black when it comes to hoodies. But yeah, there's definitely merch there. If you guys like that, hey, hit them up. They're actually very, very comfortable. So the first couple that I ordered, or Valeria ordered for me for the hoodies, they were larges. And I put them on, and I'm like, my arms are too long for this. So now I'm wearing an XL, but my wife has both of them, and she's like, those are so warm. So that's all she
You're never
wears.
getting them back, bud.
I'm never getting them back. I kind of like one, I could kind of get away with it, but at the same time, I'm like you said, I'm never getting them back.
Nope.
She's taking claim to both of those hoodies. So now I have a third hoodie, which is the XL one, and even this one. It goes in the wash.
You're
And
not
then
gonna find it.
I come back and I'm like, wait, I thought this was getting washed. And then I look for it and oh yeah, sorry, I accidentally put it with my stuff because I thought it was my hoodie. I'm like, really?
Yep. Yep. This is why I'm single, guys, so I can wear my own hoodies. Hey, for anyone who's losing hoodies to their girlfriends and wives, here's a tip: be single. You never lose any clothing items. Let's go check out what stocks are doing over here. The tab is store Pratt. Yeah, I don't know why it's not on my side. I'm just glad it's there for Arun to show it to you guys here. I'll just show you one more time. It's not there for me. I guess they're hiding from me for some reason. But you guys saw where it is. You guys know where to go. Hit that store. Buy all the good stuff. Go represent the Trader TV family. Be one of us. One of us. One of us. All right, back to SoFi. Let's go check out what SoFi is doing. SoFi still above 13, I'm going to guess. Exactly, still above 13. I'm looking at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ did go to VWAP at 14,900 and then started trailing back to the downside. ES did not manage to go back to the VWAP on a 3-minute and is curling back at, looks like, what is this, 45.50 maybe? Slightly under 45.50. Let's say 45.45. Starts curling back down from there. And now we're trying to see if the low of day is going to be tested for either of those markets or both of them. Since we talked about SPY and NASDAQ, let's go check out the big ones too. The IWM Russell 2000 and the big boy diamonds. Diamonds are forever. Hey, still positive on IWM.
When it comes to futures, I actually want to answer something here. Metacom asking what's the ticker I'm using for the futures. Right. So right now we're on the front month contract is the March contract. So it'll be ES. In our system is H22 with the Chicago market extension.
So are we trading the March contracts?
Yes.
We're not trading the February contracts?
There is no February contract.
Oh, okay.
When it comes
quarterly
to,
contracts.
Yeah. So when it comes to index futures, there's 4 contracts, 1 for every quarter, and you're trading the one with that's expiring ahead.
Okay.
So in this case, it's March, and then the second Friday. Well, actually, the second Friday of the expiring month, you move to the next forward contract, which will be then the June contract, right? And that March contract will expire on the following Friday. So on the third Friday of every month, not every month, every quarterly, it'll expire. And then a week before that happens, you move over to the new contract. And that's what, when you hear the term rollover, that's what people refer to. Rollover is they're rolling the contracts over because they're only valid for 3 months. They expire, they need to be settled out every 3 months. So when you're trading one contract, it's good for 3 months, then you move to the next one. But when it comes to like oil and stuff, they have different values. Oil, I think, trades on a 2-month basis. They have a contract for every month, but I think only every other month gets the volume. So you can go through the CME website, you can figure out what the contracts are, what contract is the next one being traded. Futures coming off here. This is what I was worried about, right? You get out on the bounce. You got to get out on the bounce because after that little flush from what looked like 65 down to 40 something, and the initial 15 points was roughly 15,000 contracts just immediately. Now any bounce is going to hit resistance. So for the fact that I got out, I used these bounces to get out of some of these longs, right? And then DKNG I'm stuck in. That's the only long I couldn't get out of because we hadn't gone far enough. It didn't make sense, so I'm just going to take the hit. Why did the stop go off? Okay, anyways, I got to dump DKNG because that one's done as well.
I'll take over for a second, for sure. So I'm just looking at Disney. I just obviously look at this. I was looking for the long at 152 for Disney in case it did flush down. So obviously with the market moving down, it is giving us that opportunity to go long. I'm trying a small long right now, which is already 20 cents out of the money. We'll see how far this one goes. I'm not going to let it go much further against me. Probably going to give it a 50-cent wiggle room to the downside, and then we'll come back in a different price point, maybe 147, which happens to be yesterday's closing price point. If we do go all the way back there for Disney, this is the IWM Russell that I was looking at. So IWM Russell 2000, which is basically a way bigger basket of stocks compared to the SPY 500, which is 500 stocks, and NASDAQ 100, which is 100 stocks. So IWM Russell 2000, a bigger basket, was positive until now, but is also in the negative territory. And then what's the other one I'm looking for? The Dow, DIA on Amex. Let's see what these ones are. How many stocks are in the Dow? Dow. How many stocks?
30, bro.
30? Oh, Dow Jones 30, duh. I'm drawing a blank on that one. There you go. So 30 Dow Jones, and we're getting ready to see if it can, well, if it was positive, and obviously that's going to be a no because we're taking out the low a day and getting ready to go much
you
lower.
didn't change the camera. You're talking and you're leaving it
Oh,
on me.
sorry, it's on me. Hoo-hoo.
There you go.
So here we go. So
Slacking over there.
Diamonds coming down a little bit.
Yeah,
and
we're losing the
IWM.
banks. See, now BAC is accelerating to the downside. We're losing the banks. Futures taking off. It makes sense, right? This is kind of the reason why I wanted to dump the banks first, because they were showing the most resistance when we were kind of, oh crap, I closed the chart. Anyways, they were showing the most resistance when we were moving up. We should have broken out with the strength that we had in the futures off the bottom, but the fact that we weren't getting enough strength off the banks, start unloading them. BAC is done. I dumped WFC for a profit, BAC for a loss, and then most of the longs I've gotten out of. I finally got out of DKNG. UL and MFC have already cashed out. Trail stops are in, so even if they come back about 20 cents, I'm dumping those. The shorts I'm holding on to because at this point, we got to be looking at the lows. The lows being, what is the low here? We're looking at 1250 on the low end. That's not that far away. We can accelerate through there. I can see this market taking out the lows, but I'd still be open to the idea of a long of the futures as long as we take out the lows, fail, snap back, find a bid. At that point, I'd go for the long with the 4,500 even stop. But anything in between, I'm just going to let the market go. We either get to 45.80 or we get below the low of the day and snap back, at which point there could be a long in play as well. Somebody was asking about Bill. I mean, short Bill if you want, but I feel like you got to choose the weaker names. Bill has been very strong for the last few days. If you're going for shorts, find the ones that are weaker. Why short something strong when you can look at a chart, say on the daily, and you see the weakness in some other names? Path of least resistance is what you want when you decide to take a trade. Shorting a super strong name like Bill maybe not be the best way of going for a short. Find names that are weaker, that are starting to turn around, and then those will have a decent amount of space to the downside.
It's looking for names actually that I've leaned on earlier in the morning, such as AMD itself. AMD back to 128 low a day. So let's see if we can grab a long in front of AMD. I'm going to be honest, I don't like any of these because the market still has a lot of room to the downside here. So if market really starts crushing itself to the downside for another leg down here, I'm not going to be trying to, find a way to get long on AMD and Disney and Twilio and so on. Where is Twilio right now? TWLO 211. Oh man, so even spicier of a long entry coming in for Twilio because I was looking for a 220 long. Actually, I did have a 220 long off the open, which worked for me after my first trade, which didn't. So now that we're coming back all the way to this resistance area or support area, which was previous resistance, I'm looking for another long opportunity over here. Let's see if we can get a fill on Twilio. Just gonna throw an order out, and we're gonna give it the whole dollar room to the downside to 210 break. And obviously, I have 3 longs now. I think I'm gonna be hands off on looking for more longs because I need the market to start moving back north. That's the Nasdaq I just showed you. This is the ES. I need the market to go back up north a little bit if I want these longs to win. I don't want to just be catching or trying to catch a falling knife over here, which is clearly looks like the setup process is the setup that I'm running into blindly, just trying to catch knives.
All right, there's a question that Brian Flores was asking. It's a very good question, actually. Why are you not shorting the market if you're making all these other moves, assuming that that's going to happen? Because the way I'm looking at it is I need levels, right? All these stocks that I've chosen, they're around certain prices. I'm looking for price action. Like FTNT was messing around with that 330. I was like, oh, that's not going to hold out well. If we lose the strength of the market, FTNT is not going to hold up the ability to kind of keep going. So I start making moves on the individual names based on the weakness that I've seen in trading. When it comes to the overall market as a whole, I need levels to work with. I've drawn the levels out. I'm going to make a trade within these bands if I can get a trade. Otherwise, even if the market falls off, I don't care. It needs to be within the bands. Just like I make trades on certain names within certain prices, on the futures I'm doing the exact same thing. It needs to be within certain prices so I can make a move. And for futures, we're sitting way below this 45.80, and it seems like if we go back to the low, this 4,500 can still come into play. But if we go back to the low and take it out, then I can figure out a potential long that I want to take back towards the highs. Those are my two reads. Now, I'm not going to step into the market and go for shorts just because other stocks that I want to get out of. I try to keep them individual and kind of separate them a little bit so that just because I'm thinking something doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do that in the future. I can kind of dump other longs, the weak longs, hold on to shorts. But when it comes to futures, I have the way I approach it. And for me, it needs to set up. Once I get the setup, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But for the time being, I would love for a move. Another 15-point move on the futures would help kind of figure out potential longs.
15-point downside?
Yeah, 15-point downside would kind of get us so close to the low that then I can be like, oh, if the low fails, then I can definitely go for the long. Because my long, my support level is 4,500 even, right? So I would love to go for a long. Just go a little bit lower. But at the same time, if we go a little bit lower, some of the weak stocks that I've been holding on to that haven't done well, they're probably going to fall off. So dump the weak names, look for the futures. Maybe we can spin some trades around on the futures. And somebody else was asking about DKNG. Why did you go long 24? That seemed like a weak area. Well, I was looking at that 2350 break, and then we finally got above 24. And on the daily for me, again, like I do with every trade, on the daily for me, once we get north of some resistance level, to me, once you get past this area right here, we have some space to move to the upside. So I figured, hey, you know what? The long makes sense to go right here, just above 24. Just make sure it gets above and then kind of find some support buying. And then at that point, you can look for a move towards 27. That was the objective of the DKNG long. But clearly, the market had different ideas. It decided to fall off. This was one of the weaker names, especially once we got above 24. We started going sideways. We came down, went to 60, went back up, caught another sell wave, and then we were sitting here, and then we lost it with the Fed or the news with the 100 basis point thing. So at that point, why am I going to hold on to the long? I've lost it twice around the price where we should have expanded out, and we're hitting resistance. So I may have missed the 24. Maybe the breakout point or where we're going to find more buying is a little bit higher. So I don't need to hold on to this trade if I'm not going to get the breakout that I want at the price that I want. So that's the reason I went for the long, and that's the reason why I dumped the long. MFC and UL, I've picked the right locations. I've cashed some out, and I've protected maybe half of what I have unrealized on both of these longs. But at the same time, I'm going to give them the chance to move because they've shown that they have strength. They're not like DKNG just falling off. They actually are showing strength off those prices. So, hey, why not get a move and let them move? Even if the market's weak, this thing has barely fallen. MFC has gone down like maybe 10 cents. It hasn't been a big move to the downside on MFC. Yeah, it's done this. This is what MFC did as the market fell off. So MFC has relative strength, and I'm holding on to the relative strength ones or the stronger ones and dumping the ones that I feel that are weaker. So that's why you see me kind of shed a lot of these longs that were weak for a while. And then I finally just dumped DKNG as well. So there we go.
Still working on my positions here. Looking at AMD. So obviously this is what helped me take the long off the open. AMD near yesterday's yesterday's low also happens to be February 8th high almost. Near 127.50, 128, which is the long I took off the open. Kind of coming back there. Now down about 2 cents out of the money for AMD. Let's go 5 cents in the money now. Let's turn this around. Still waiting for that pop in the market, but obviously I am very finger on the trigger, ready to dump all of these longs in case that drop comes into the futures that Arun was just mentioning about. I am not looking forward to hold these longs.
But that's the thing. You gotta be careful with that. If you're priced at a good price,
I believe so, but
and there's like a reason for that long, and the stock isn't showing weakness at that price, then dumping it makes no sense.
Fair,
right?
Fair.
All the ones that I dumped were not showing strength. All
like
the longs
banks
that I had,
and stuff.
Yeah, the banks were weak around the prices where I got in. They were weak. Like DKNG was weak. So all of them were not showing strength, and the market was falling off. At that point, I'm not going to get any help from the market to push the stock up. But if your stock is showing individual strength and the market's falling off, then why dump it?
Fair, good point.
Right?
Yeah. Very, very good point. So still working on this one a little bit. Twilio, the only one right now out of the money. Obviously, with the spread on Twilio, sometimes opening up to almost 50-cent spread and then tightening up to almost, what happened?
Hard into the 76, or what did they get in exchange?
Ben Simmons?
Oh, they finally got rid of Simmons? Simmons and 2 firsts for Harden for any basketball fans out there.
Wait, for washed up Harden? Bro, I love Harden, but come on, you know he's washed up. Bro, I love Harden, but he's washed up. Come on, I'm saying that. Me loving Harden, that's a whole different thing.
2 firsts?
2
Damn.
firsts for Harden. Damn, Harden's gone. Simmons is gone from there.
So what are the
Wow.
Nets going to do now?
What are the Nets gonna do? Yeah, now I don't even want to go watch Nets. I guess I have to go only
Who's
watch
left?
for
Who's
Durant and
Durant and
Kyrie.
Kyrie,
Kyrie
if
and
he
Durant
plays.
are on there still.
Well, he will play, but okay.
Unless he starts talking about flat Earth again, he's gonna get booted. Who knows?
Well, his issue
That's
is
not
the
what
flat
booted
Earth.
him. Yeah.
His issue is much different. But,
Yeah.
Futures now 45.20. Here we go to the downside. We're not too far away from lows, and that could open things up a little bit for the end of the day here. We've got half an hour left on the show. Let me do a quick likes count. 1.4K. Guys, there's like 2,800 people watching, and there's not enough likes. So get the likes up if we can, and hopefully this kind of works out for us as the day goes on, because this market is slipping, not in a fun way. So I'm looking at the chat. What are you guys talking about? Oh, it's basketball talk. Stocks broke through the semiconductor index. Imagine you were talking about Stocks L. Stocks L is what I'm assuming you're talking about, Frank. Which is a triple bull. Well, okay, hold on. If we're talking about semiconductors, then we should probably go to S.
Arun, did you even like the video yourself? Yeah, let's see this, Arun. This guy's liking it right now.
No,
Yo,
I can't.
Good
I
catch.
can't.
Good
I can't.
catch. I am the changer.
So so the thing with this account, so with this computer, is that Valeria's still logged into her stuff, and I don't want to touch any of her stuff.
Fair.
So I'm just left. I logged in and I'm using like the private browser function. So you can't like it on that.
Oh, true.
Like I can.
You
go
gotta
in,
log in.
Yeah, I can go in and log Valeria out of her stuff,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't know what she's got connected. So
Yeah,
I'd
fair,
rather
fair.
not do that.
Fair.
Privacy, people. Privacy.
Nah, the viewer just called you out, so I had to.
Oh,
I had to.
100%. SMH, there you go. That's the index that we were talking about. SMH, the semiconductor. If we're talking about stocks, yeah, it's hitting resistance. It makes sense. But I'm not a fan of trading these semiconductor indexes, though.
We use SOX, I believe.
SLX?
XOSOX.
No, it's.
Is that the one?
XOXL is a triple bull. I was looking for Frank put an SOX, and I was like, wait, I can't pull that up because I actually don't trade these ETFs, these index ETF. Well, the semiconductor ETF a whole lot. And there goes the futures through 20.
Yeah.
Now we're at 15, 16. How are my longs? UL. Okay, maybe we should dump some more UL. That trail actually should be going soon. Oh, okay, I see where it is. Okay, so we should be getting out of UL soon. Futures 3 points from their lows. And what is going on? Canada Goose does not want to go down. I don't get it. Goose, what are you doing? CVS not willing to go down. They're like still just going sideways at the very best. What is going on with these two names? Why are they not? Yeah, look at that. No participation in this down move as the futures are looking toward their lows. CVS doing the exact same thing, just not willing to cooperate to the downside. I think with CVS, though, if we lose 50, which is right here, if we lose 50, we can actually get going to the downside. So hopefully get that move happening. And futures at 16, 17 right now. Low is about 5 points away. If we get through there, what I'm going to look for is we're either going to get through, get some volume and continue going, or we're going to maybe go 4 or 5 points, snap back, and find some buying. If that happens, if the buying happens, then I'd be okay with going for longs with a 4,500 even stop. So that's kind of the direction I'm leaning towards, and we're just going to manage out the 4 shorts, the 2 longs, and UL is probably going to be dumped fairly soon as well.
Wow.
Brad just looking up the NBA rumor mill there.
Yeah,
and all the trades that are going down.
It's 76 series for Ben, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. That's a lineup for Harden, bro. All that for Harden? I don't know if that's worth it. That's a bad trade.
I mean, they had to get rid of Simmons, right?
Listen. I would have made a better trade. Make me the GM. Come on. I would have Messiah Uljury the crap out of this.
All right.
Bro, I would have Messiah Uljury the crap out of this, bro. Come on.
Brad.
Bro, I would have brought in like...
Hey, Brad, why don't we first massage the shit out of these trades and make some money before massaging the shit out of these?
His name is Messiah Uljury. That's his name. Messiah.
That's his actual name?
Yeah, for the Raptors GM.
Isn't it Masai?
Messiah.
Masai.
You say it Messiah like the from the Bible.
Okay, I want him to say it because I don't trust nobody.
It's Messiah Uljury. You say it like the Bible Messiah, not Messiah.
There's no AH.
Yeah, but you say it that way.
Oh.
It's Messiah. Bro.
Nobody's saying. See,
Come
nobody's
on,
agreeing.
man. I've heard
okay,
it say
just
Messiah
stop. Brad, just
multiple
stop.
times.
This is not helping your case right now. This guy wants to be a GM. This guy he wants to be a GM and he doesn't know other GMs' names.
Yo, listen,
Come on,
I don't
man.
need to know the other
There goes
GM's
the
name.
low on
All
the
I need to
futures.
know is the basketball player name.
All right, well, let's go back to the futures.
Yeah,
The future
yeah.
lows are going right now. So 12, there you go. Brand new lows on the futures. None of these shorts are moving. Okay, let's set something up. ES, pound F. All right, there's your low on the futures. What can we potentially see on the turn as these lows get taken? Maybe a move back to 25 could be enough. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe 25. We'll say the trend is in play until 25. For now, this could change, but I'm going to say until 25 comes back in, I'm going to stay away from shorts. But flip side of this is if 25 goes, if 4,500, okay, so now I've got multiple trades I can set up here. 45.25 is going to be an inflection point. 4,500 is going to be an inflection point. If we get back above 45.25 now, I'm going to see if I can grab a long and see and ride that back up towards the highs. If we lose 4,500, I'm going to look for the short. 45.25 is going to be your stop. If we trade anywhere in between, I'm not doing anything. Now, this 45.25 can move around a bit. I'm not set on this 25, but based on this current movement, I'm going to say 25 should be just enough to get us on the long side. But again, the more time it takes to kind of go towards 4,500, I can figure out a better price. But for the time being, we're kind of boxing this in within a 25-point range. And in the event we break out either side, I'll just kind of go ahead and step into that direction.
Yeah, I'm still holding my trades. As you mentioned, if they're not breaking your supports, there's no reason to really get out. Still waiting to see if AMD is going to crack below 127. Waiting to see if Disney is going to crack below 151 and Twilio below 210. So just holding on patiently. Market still new lower day for ES now. ES with the new lower day. Looks like Twilio is going to go struggle at 210. If 210 goes, obviously we're not going to hold it. The size on 210 is gone now. There we go. 210 is gone. Going to give it a time stop here. 10-second, 15-second time stop to see if we can get back above 210. We're trying. The spread is decreasing and we're trying to get back above 210. Let's put 210s on the bid and see if we can come back to it. Same thing applies to Disney. Same thing applies to AMD. Let's go check if Microsoft's back to 300. Indeed. All right. Time to look for a long in Microsoft now. And the reason why I'm saying that is obviously if you go check out what the 300 level looks like on Microsoft, here we go. Look at the number of times we bounce off of 300. So I'm going to give it a little bit more room to the downside just in case Microsoft wants to wipe out some more bids over here and go mess with people on the lower end. And if that's the case, Twilio back above 210, which is good, but really struggling around this price. But yeah, Microsoft, we'll give it a little bit of room to go down so we can load up on our bag long. We talked about Microsoft. Someone mentioned look at Apple, and we actually haven't talked about Apple ever since. So let me go take a look at Apple. Apple down 2%, obviously, with the whole market kind of pooping itself right now. Yeah. Can't expect Apple to hold itself up, and Apple being the biggest basket of the two markets that we look at. It's going to start moving the market with it too. This market is awesome. Indeed, Kyle M. I love the market. We love trading. We love stonk market, baby. And in that stonk market is the biggest one over here is Apple, obviously. Trying to make a rebound at the moment. Very happy with my Twilio. I was pretty scared. Very happy with it right now, though, because we're back above 210 and we're trying to make a move north. And if Apple can figure out how to hold these bottoms in front run of 172, 173. If Microsoft can figure out to hold up at 300, actually Microsoft's going to hold up at 301.50 and start making a move north, looks like. So if these tech stocks, which actually are the biggest weighted stocks in the overall Nasdaq, and the Microsoft can figure out a way to stop going down and rotate themselves the other direction, then that's going to help me with my longs over here overall.
Yeah, well, for sure. The longs are still on the table. As long as 4,500 doesn't break on the futures, longs are still on the table. So it's just a matter of getting a bounce, getting some buying, getting some stability, and I'm looking at 25 as the bounce point. But again, if we could bounce a little bit and then fail again. If we lose 4,500, for me, if we lose 4,500, then I have to go for the shorts. But until that happens, I can still possibly take a long. It's going to cost about 25 points, maybe 30, depending on the trading. But it's still a possibility this market could double bottom and bounce back towards the highs. That's still on the table as long as 4,500 doesn't. What?
I'd go crazy if that happened.
I'm just saying, like, you can't rule that idea out until we lose the support level, and the support level is still 4,500. So that's still on the table. And Scott was asking, what are the futures contracts? Well, on our system, it's H22, ES/H22, but the official quote from CME is ESH2. Right? So however that's kind of programmed into the software that you're using, just enter it. But it is the H contract. That is the March contract. So you're definitely on the H contract because the M is the June contract. So that's where all the volume is, the March S&P contract. And that's what we're looking at. Depending on what system and what software you're using, it might be slightly different, but they're gonna have an H in there somewhere. It's gonna be H22 or H2 or H2022 or something like that, right? The reason I put, and you may see me this do a lot, you may see me do this a lot too, is I might do ES pound F on the E-signal chart. The reason being is because E-signal allows for a consolidated chart. So it just, instead of doing charts in 3-month blocks, it'll kind of put all the different contracts together so I can actually see them throughout their expiration. So this is me kind of looking into, this is January, and the expiration happens somewhere here, but the chart doesn't show it, right? There might be a small little gap up between Thursday and Friday, but the gap, it's not going to show a different chart. It's going to just kind of overlay the old chart and continue going. So that's the consolidated consolidated chart on eSignal. You just use the pound F function if you have eSignal. As you can see, I've still got 4 short. I've dumped all my longs, 4 shorts, but as I say that, the longs are still on the table. So I am potentially looking for a long on the futures if we can get some more strength here. So that's still on the table. Markets can still move to the upside. And I quickly took a look at our light count. It's at 1,500, Pratt.
Let's go.
1.5K. We're about 500 short of getting to 2K. So it's possible. Can we get it done is the question. We're only yesterday were we below 2K. Every other day this week we've been above 2K. And then Valeria will be back. I thought it was going to be on Monday, but apparently it's on Tuesday. So you'll see me again on Monday. So today, tomorrow, and then Monday you'll see me, and then I'll be gone. Valeria will be back. And you guys get back to your normal duo. You get Brad, and you get me. Or not me. You get Prad, you get Valeria. Valeria's going to be back to trading Tesla like she always does. And then Prad, hopefully you're going to stay live and not go into your TMS account.
For what?
For Monday.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
on Monday, for Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, even tomorrow. I'll be back onto my live tomorrow.
So minimize the mistakes so you can actually stay live.
For sure.
And they'll go back to it.
I have a comment about Henry over here. Henry, I have no hate, Trader Pratt. These guys go on and saying that the market is crashing and not a chance. We see upside. I'm simply countering them with my opinion. I'm sorry you're not. You're countering them with hate speeches and negativity. They're spreading their opinion, Henry. They are spreading their opinion about how they think the market's going to go down, or how they think the market's going to go sideways, or how they think the market's going to go up. They're spreading their opinion. They're not He's saying, hey, whoever's a bear, I hope you lose. Hey, whoever's short, I hope you lose. I hope you get bent over. They're not using terminology like that, man. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm not trying to pick on you. Just be nice. I don't want to see negativity in the chat. It ruins the mood for everybody because it's money involved. People might be losing trades. Look, I'm long with you. I want the longs to win, but there's money on the table here. People might be losing money, and it's not fun for them to read messages like that. So take that negativity out. Be nice. If you wanna counter FUD by spreading your opinion, that's what you're saying. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing and what you're saying are completely polar opposites to each other right now. If you want to counter FUD by saying, guys, I don't think it's gonna go down anymore, I think it's gonna go up, but good luck, I'm okay with that. I'm not arguing about that. But that's not true. What you're doing is completely different than what you're claiming to do. So please, I'll give that as your first and second warning. The third time, that's just going to be a 300-second ban.
He sent a super chat saying, what's it called? Saying, best of luck to all traders.
Yeah.
Longs and shorts. And that's the thing, right? Everyone's going to see the charts differently. Some people are going to see this market fall off, and they're going to be like, oh, it's going to zero. And then other people will be like, oh, this is a great buying opportunity. How are you going to approach the market? Everyone's going to do it differently. Regardless of what people say, just because they say it doesn't mean they're doing it, right? So if everyone's saying, oh, it's going to fall off, they could just be sitting here watching it. It's almost like watching TV, like, oh, this is entertaining. If you've got money on the line, then you know how much more important that is. So whatever you got to do, if you feel that's a buying opportunity, do it. If you feel that the market's going to go lower, do it. Right? As long as you have a reasoning for doing what you do, it doesn't matter what other people are talking about. It doesn't matter what other people are saying. Right? Obviously, it gets a little muddy when you look at the comments in the chats and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, everyone's in the market to make money, right? And however you analyze the information to do that is what this game is all about. Because once you can figure that out, then you just apply that constantly over and over again. A lot of the people in the chat are newer and they're watching the market maybe not for the first time, but they're fairly newer. And then when they see a small move, it's exciting to them. Because I remember when I was trading and I was in a small loser on BAC, I was at like 4 or 5 cents on BAC and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Because that was new. That was when I was starting out. That's typical reaction of people that are starting out.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you kind of get
a
some more
5
experience.
cents was ripping for me back then, and
That's
now
what I'm
it's
saying.
nothing.
With experience, your terminology and what you think of the market and what is extreme changes.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Big time.
A lot of people are newer, so maybe they're a little bit more not excited, but a little bit more sensitive to the crazy movements. Like all of a sudden, 5 cents or 10-cent move in like a minute is a big deal, right? That changes over time. So be open to it. Just be aware that everyone's looking at the same information slightly differently. They're processing it differently. You see the way I'm doing it, right? So I process the information differently than the way Prad does, right? But that's why we're sitting here going, oh, this is my setup. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. Because you're not processing the information. You're not looking at the chart the same way I'm looking at the chart. And that's why I don't have a problem sharing all of this because it's not that big of a deal. Because everyone's going to see it differently. Everyone's going to make money from it differently. And there's so many different ways to make money in this market. It's just a matter of finding the way you want to get to it, right? Futures bouncing now back to 45.20. Hey, great
Beautiful
opportunity
bounce.
to buy if you like if you are looking for buys, then great opportunity to catch the buy off the bottom. Now, I am still on the table for longs. I said that off the bottom. I wanted to see the lows go, and then I wanted to see a snapback buy that gets held. And if that happens, I'm going for the long, and I'm going to look for the highs as the target. That's been on deck since we were up at like 40-something. Now here we are bouncing off the lows of 45.05, 45.0475. That is still on the table. So set up multiple possibilities, and then when it happens, you just got to execute that trade. For me, 25 is going to be the point where if we get above there, hey, we have enough. Let's go for the long, take the shot, and see if we can get the futures back up towards the highs.
So AMD in the money. Let's go. Disney was in the money, but I guess we are coming back down a little bit. Twilio, the only one not in the money, but I'm not too worried about this one. Still holding at 210 and actually forming a consolidation over here.
Popped, eh?
A firm apparently, being talked in the chat. Let's go look. Oh wow,
Yeah,
what?
That's a pop.
That is a pop. Why did a firm pop like that? Let me see if I can find. They're gonna release earnings early. might have leaked earnings early. Ah, okay. And if they're popping like this, then I'm gonna guess that it's a good report, good leak or whatever. So obviously earnings leak coming in for a firm. Look at that volume spike, biggest spike of the day. We did break out the high of day. We went all the way to what, $83, almost 82.66 is the high of day over there. Wow, Twilio broke 210, so I guess I should be getting out of this one. We'll be getting out of Twilio, but yeah. So going back to Affirm, man, Affirm's still moving. So let's go check out Affirm on the dailies. That could be a fade on Affirm.
I'm thinking that. I'm waiting for more info, but I might actually just fade this on this little pop here. The reason being, look at where we are on the daily. Nice little sell zone right here.
Wait, before you draw it, would this look good? Because I just drew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. It's that's the same zone.
Cool.
But I mean, if it is earnings based, you want to slow it down a little bit. But I'm definitely looking at the possibility of fading this little pop on Affirm. Dangerous though, because the risk is fairly high. If you're looking at 86 as the top, I mean, you got to get at least 81 to make it a 5-point risk. But leave it on the table. Again, trades are always on the table, especially on moves like that. So I'll definitely keep an eye out for potential moves on the short side on Affirm. Futures bouncing off those 20s. Okay, I guess 25 is not happening right now. So we're still waiting for futures. Possibility of a short on Affirm. Not ready to go just yet. It's still got some strength, so respect the strength. We're going to wait a little bit more. If it continues going, obviously the idea is off the table. But if it fails now through these 80s, I think we could bring that idea of a possibility of a short on Affirm soon, maybe. But it seems like it's got some strength left. So, hey, we're going to back off, wait for this market, wait for this stock to slow down in the event that it happens.
Oh, wow. I actually like this. I did not see this tweet. Disney CEO apparently 20 hours ago. If the metaverse is about blending the digital and the physical world together, who can do it better than Disney? Say less. Go long on Disney. That's all I can say. I mean, it makes sense, you know, but virtual theme
Explain
parks?
that to me.
Virtual theme parks? Like, you're telling me... Listen, I was talking about it. Virtual reality is gonna get to a point where if you're on a roller coaster ride in your home, you're gonna feel the wind blowing at you. You're gonna smell the grass of the roller coaster. Like, we're gonna get that advanced in the world. We're gonna get there. So don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
So if that comes up into Disney, like, imagine you're sitting at home and you just strap on this Oculus headset and you're basically walking through the whole Disney theme park at your couch.
Yeah.
For $100, you're not spending no plane ticket, no nothing.
Okay.
And that's gonna be a wonderful life, man.
So essentially, to go to a Disney theme park at home.
Yeah. Listen, it's all about convenience. If I can go across the world without stepping a single foot outside my door, that's the convenience I'm willing to pay for.
Well, we know your convenience. You don't want to leave the house. That's okay.
That's the convenience I'm paying
Affirm's
for.
still going, so we can't go short yet. We may have to respect the strength.
Here's the news for Affirm.
What's the news?
So another great they deleted it right before they tweeted. Another
they released
great
earnings midday.
Yeah, like they tweeted it by mistake and they deleted it. So another great quarter in the books. Blah 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 blah. Buy now, pay never later. Looks like someone's actually paying up a little bit. So Affirm could just have a nice move back to the hundreds. Looks like at this pace, man. Not too long ago we're at 46s. I should have just bought some Affirm because I was so bullish on Affirm after the Amazon partnership.
I mean, that's a blunder to say the very least. To tweet, like, I imagine this was a scheduled tweet. Who thought that whatever time? When was that? What time was that released at?
Let me check.
If there's a timestamp on it,
Should be.
typically those are scheduled tweets already. So for them to kind of schedule it at like 1 something in the afternoon, what time was it?
No timestamp, but looks like if it was just tweeted and deleted, it was around 1:30, around when the spike came in.
Okay, so 1:30 scheduled tweet, and no one thought that, hey, maybe let's wait until when we're actually supposed to release the earnings to tweet out. That's a blunder at the very least. I can see some I don't say losses, but you know, sometimes there's some actions against
Like a lawsuit, yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's some like legal actions against lawsuits for misleading investors and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see someone trying to find a way to be like, hey, this was not cool,
Yeah.
because maybe they were short. Who knows? But yeah, that's a problem. Futures not willing to bounce past these 20s. Okay, still potential shorts on the table. 40 again, like I said with the futures, S&P, if it bounces either north of 25 or south of 4,500, we've got to trade. Anything in between, we're just going to let it go. Either get above this line or get below this line. At that point, I'll make a move. Until that happens, sit and wait.
Knock, knock, SEC. SEC who, says a firm and runs out the back door. I guess that's what's happening over here if they knock on their door. We'll see. SEC will investigate. I don't doubt it. I honestly don't doubt it. But what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Like, we can speculate on it. There's going to be a slap on the wrist, pay a fine, move on, fire the guy, make a scapegoat out of somebody, and move on with this. So, like, it really shouldn't matter to us if an investigation is happening or not. I don't think it's going to reflect in the stock market too much either.
No,
for that.
Those legal actions happen all the time.
Yeah.
There's always some reason for bringing a law action against a company for investor-related losses, whether
Absolute slap on the wrist.
Well, no, I'm not like the SEC side of it is one thing. I'm talking about like an actual suit from investors.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not talking about the SEC side.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the actual suit from the investors, because you see that happen all the time when investors feel that they got cheated out of something. Because, oh, well, you didn't give us a chance to get out. I felt we were going to get out, and then you tweeted this when you said you weren't going to tweet it, or when you weren't supposed to tweet it, and that cost me money, so I'm going to sue you now. Like, that kind of lawsuit happens.
Do you if you win that lawsuit, let's say you were the one who created it, you don't know it.
I don't know enough. I just see.
I don't
like,
know if you win that.
I see like legal actions against companies all the time when I look up the news. Like, there's a pending lawsuit from this and this for this investor thing, and then there's another lawsuit for this and this, and there's like so many.
I wonder how many of them actually win their lawsuit against big companies like that.
I mean, I don't know.
I gotta research that for sure. Hey guys, can you check the 10-year yield coming down fast? Market will bounce. So is that the TLT again on New York? Sorry, no, Nasdaq. TLT indeed moving up north here. I guess there could be a move up north in the market then, right? If TLT is going up, technically market should go up. Right, Arun?
What?
If TLT is going up, market should go up too, right?
There's a weird relationship. Sometimes they're in sync with each other. Sometimes they're not. I was just looking at what Andrew said. Some companies can release earnings reports whenever they want. There's nothing illegal against it. I was always under the impression there's some legal precedent for releasing it at a specific
Oh yeah, there
time.
is.
No, is there? I don't know.
For sure.
I mean, like, it's their earnings report.
They slapped Elon across the face for saying funding secured 420.
That's different.
Oh, come on.
That's different.
Oh, come on.
No,
How is this any different
that's
than
different.
that?
That's a complete business like structure, like a big change to the structure of the business. Versus this is like, hey, we've already got the numbers. We just accidentally
Fair. The
released it.
structure is vastly different.
That's different.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might be right about this. There may be no legal. I don't know. I thought there'd be some legal precedent like, hey, if you say you're going to release it at this time, then you got to do your best to release it at this time. If you're going to do it midday, then there's probably a fine or some sort of thing happening. And usually when there's a fine, then there's going to be a lawsuit that comes behind it too. But I mean, he might be right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, a lot of
he said he was an auditor at Ernst
litigations.
Young, so maybe trust the guy that audits.
He audits. Okay.
There you go. Trust the guy that audits.
We should be careful of this guy. I was also an auditor at EY. Ernst & Young?
Yeah.
My cousin works there. That's pretty cool. EY. SEC is in a coma. Hey, man, don't be nice to the SEC. They're looking at your comments. They're looking at all the chat logs. Listen, after what happened with the Reddit, SEC legit has robots in every single YouTube chat log. SEC has robots in every single Reddit subreddit there is, and they're monitoring the crap out of it. I don't know if you guys heard this, but the #1 pumper on Twitter is finally getting a lawsuit, and I'm very happy about that.
Who's this?
I'm not gonna say his name, but
Okay,
the number
what happened?
I'll say after.
No, what happened?
He's getting a lawsuit for pumping and dumping stocks. Like, how is that
yeah.
guy legal on Twitter with so many amount of followers and just pumping and dumping stocks and not getting sued by the government? So finally he's getting sued, and I'm very happy that things are getting cracked on people. So let those whips start cracking on people.
As
man.
you guys can see, legal disclaimer, since we're talking about it already, legal disclaimer says that this is not financial advice. Let me read it if I can just get down to it. This is not financial advice. I can't even find it anymore.
It should be just under us.
That's what I thought, but it's I
No?
can't open it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway, this is not financial advice. We're also not apart from we're getting into these positions. Most like, well, I'm getting into them and then telling you guys about them. I'm not telling you and then getting it. That's not happening. So as you guys can see, I'm already positioning myself just to show you what I'm trading, right? That's kind of what we're doing on this show, just to follow us, not follow us, but learn something from what we're doing. That's kind of the objective. We're not trying to pump anything, nor are we trying to sell anything.
We got 1 minute left here, Arun, and to wrap it off, who else is going to super chat us other than the big boy, Nick Ganguly? Nick Ganguly coming in here says the one thing I hate about apes. All right, I think I should just stop reading that comment there because I don't want people to get mad. I appreciate the super chat, though. I get what you're saying. If you're against them, you're a hedgy and they get mad. But, you know, it's all emotional-based trading with the people. So when emotions are coming in, people get affected. That's why I didn't want Henry to, like, hurt people because a lot of people can be really emotional. Overall, though, Henry, I'm so thankful for you to coming in and support everybody and kind of, like, move away from that topic. So thank you, Henry, for saying what you did over here. Nick Ganguly, one more time. How advanced do you think SEC Tech Department is? All right, fair enough. You're right. Mike Crahan with another super chat. No message, though, so I guess just with the love and hearts and XOs from Mikey for his $2 super chat. And last but not least, my AMD long. Thank you, Arun, for telling me if it did not break your support, Pratt, just shut up and hold on to your trade.
There you
because something that did break my support was Twilio. It broke 210. I got out of it, and now it's at 208, right? But AMD did not break my support. I listened to the Yoda. He said, shut up and hold on to it. I shut up and I held on to it, and now we're 50 cents in the money. Disney, 26 cents in the money. Arun, you want to wrap off your positions while we...
No, you see my shorts. Well, it doesn't matter. I've got TWO running and then SGen, Goose, and CVS out of the money on the short side. As this market looks like it might spin around, so keep an eye out. If we do spin around, there could be a long on the table.
All right, guys, come back tomorrow for the last day of the week. Until then, have fun on the closing show. Paka paka.
Hey guys, welcome to the close. Thanks so much, Arun and Prad. What a day it's been. We are moving back towards day lows at the moment, unfortunately. We'll talk about the overall market here because we are pretty red, but I mean, we were up. Or we were down, I should say, to start, and then we were up, and we're right back down again off of that inflation number this morning and some Fed talk that we'll bring up here in a minute or two. But